Why am I not live yet? Hello? Dashboard? Hello? Okay, I'm just making sure, because it's like... It was, like, seriously lagging behind. Hi, X-Play. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just start right now. Let's just start right now. Ignore that. Ignore that. Let's... Are you gonna... Oh, God. Wait, was this live? No, this premiered. This is like... Yeah, that's just the thing. Ignore my watch history. So yeah, that's Adventure Quest on the left here. It's a little off-center because this is normally the window where I'd be playing a Dragon Fable, I think. Yeah, it's a little off-kilter, but like you get the idea. I could not change my name because changing your name in this game is complicated as hell. So I am inadvertently doxing myself. If you recognize this name with this character or with like associated with anything FGC related, hi, you found me. Congratulations. You get nothing. Good day, sir. Okay, so my intention today is to watch this video. I had no fucking idea it was 2 hours long. I thought it was a 20-minute video essay. It is a 2-hour long video essay. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna watch all of it. See, I have no idea what he's wearing here. Actually, I think that's like the new night plate. Let me see here. No, that you don't talk to Hans. Hans. Wait. You're just starting out, are you? Yes, I am. This battle log is mostly in the way. That's... Oh, no. The Darkness plate looks better. What the fuck? It's... Yeah, it's not any of these things at all. It looks nice. Yeah, these things look nice, but they're not, like, great. Also, this wouldn't really be my... This is still my username on the Battle-On forums. It is not my username anywhere else anymore. Also, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell this armor is. Because I don't... One, I don't think I have it. And two, yeah, I don't have a clue. Also, I shouldn't be... I don't want to sell all my shit. Okay? As you can see, I have a lot of things. I still have a lot of Z tokens. Spoiler, I actually bought them like a couple of weeks, or maybe a week ago. Because I was starved for Z tokens. I proceeded to gacha all of it. This is the only game, probably the only game I'm willing to gacha with, because it's adventure. Again, it gets away with like most of the Artix Entertainment games will get away with like me spending money, because I did that all the time, even as a kid. I would beg my mom to pay for these things for me, and I did get permission, to be clear. I did get permission. Artix Entertainment insists that kids ask for permission when buying these things for their games, and I definitely did do that. I did. I'm not being sarcastic, I did. I took it very seriously, so. Anyway, yeah, let's not stall anymore. Let's just watch it. I'm probably gonna leave this playing because I don't want to get like copyrighted or anything for we're trying to play. Also, make the game a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's fine. UI-ish. Oh, okay. This was like for 20 minutes. I was like, is this really a 20-minute video? It's not. It's a 2-hour long video. All right, so let's just watch it. This might get... Okay, I'm gonna lower the volume a little bit. Music. That is too quiet. What the hell? Oh yeah. There's a Talk Like a Pirate Day here. I'll do that after, I think, if I have time, or if I don't get bored watching this video. I was yeah, because it's 2 hours. I thought it was 20 minutes, but all right, let's stop stalling. Let's watch it.
What happened to Adventure Quest? Remember the old Flash game? It was an online single-player turn-based RPG with classes and quests and short, funny storylines. You clicked from screen to screen to talk to NPCs and do battle, then you gathered weapons, armor, shields, and everything looked like it had been doodled in the back of a theater kid's storybook. It was free, but if you were one of the rich kids, you could convince your parents to pay for...
Rich kids. Guardianship was only $19.99. To be very clear, it costs $20 for one-time upgrade. One-time upgrade for your character. And after that, it was smooth sailing. You got access to everything. You could level up your character to 150 like I have. And you get more potions with it. Although I don't remember how you actually get more potions anymore. It's been like years, bro. I don't remember that. But yeah, to be very clear, it's not necessarily a rich kid thing. It's more like your parents probably think this is very dumb kind of thing. But looking back at it now, it is the best deal you could ever ask for a game. Support it. Support a free game for one time, and you get access to almost everything. Then that's where Z tokens come in, but they're just tokens. Are they just tokens now? I don't remember. No, they're still called Z tokens. But yeah, like, it is the best thing you could have. It is literally the best thing you could have asked for, and it's kind of a shame that the MMOs that they released stopped doing one-time payments. Now they're asking for like monthly or yearly subscriptions. Anyway, let's move on. I can't believe I already had to pause the video like not even 1 minute in, not even 30 seconds in, just to clarify something for you. I'm probably going to be pausing this a lot because I spent way too much time playing Adventure Quest and all of Artix's subsequent games after
the Guardian upgrade and get the cool Guardian armor, some more quests, or you could complete the Blade of Ore. Most people have at least some memory of playing this game.
Yep.
Yeah, it was janky and low budget, but there was definitely passion here.
It's still
Unfortunately,
insanely
Adventure
low
Quest
budget.
was built in Flash, and when Flash Player shut down in 2020, it was basically the end of an era in gaming, and we had to bid Adventure Quest farewell. Except no, we didn't. It hasn't died because you can download the proprietary Artix Games launcher, which has a localized version of Flash entirely within it, and play all their old games.
That is
So for this
exactly
video,
how
I
I'm
had a
playing it
really
right
simple plan. Spend a day on Adventure Quest, make a short video about how it is, and then move on. No need to
Gotcha.
dive too deeply into it.
All right, so that's the gacha system. That is those are the golden gift boxes. You can pay 2,000 tokens for 10 boxes, and you'll get either a common, rare, or ultra rare shop that you can access and buy one item. I think I have way too many. I think I have way too many common. I mean, you can like upgrade them, but you can only do that through the account manager. Some of the items, most of the items in here are really good. I'm still personally slowly trying to get through it all, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this is where the quote unquote gotcha is.
A 22-year-old Flash game.
There's like a, hold on, go back like a few frames. All level 0 equipment, that didn't used to be a thing. They would be separated by tiers or like levels. So like I think they would start at like 15 and then go 45, 60, basically every multiple of 15 until you got to 150, which is still the level cap, because I mentioned this earlier in my Dragon Fable like playthrough. Was it last week? Or what, I think it was last week. Where like you were like past level 150, the game becomes harder to balance, something like that. That was the excuse they gave like 10 years ago. And seeing that they haven't changed it and I still can't gain EXP, that's probably still true. Also, look at these stats. The cap is no longer 200. So I did that. It was this build is kind of fun, except when you have no HP, you can't resist any any status ailments, and you just fucking die as soon as you get one. But it's good.
Which game is there? Nice and simple. Well, that plan didn't happen. What actually happened was, while playing, I discovered things about the game, about myself, about what truly makes a good or bad, memorable or forgettable experience. So instead, I decided to complete a childhood dream of mine and do something not many people have ever done. I decided to finish Adventure Quest. I have spent a month playing Adventure Quest every day. I have maxed out several different classes, found all 5 bits of the Blade of Ore, and finished the 74 quest-long Devourer Saga storyline.
Do you consider that completing the game when there are like 5 billion other quest lines? Do you really consider that beating the game? Just playing the quote-unquote main one, even though that wasn't the main one for like 16 years until they reimagined it, like Dragon Fable has been reimagining their quests. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep rambling on forever until I get bored, or just get pissed by all the fucking things he mentions.
This is the longest video I have ever made. It is a 2-hour retrospective, and it's about a 22-year-old Flash game. So join me as we return to the town of Babylon, back to where it all began. I'll critique the mechanics, the story, the cultural impact of the game, pointing out the good, the bad, and the incredibly ugly.
Oh yeah, like this is like all on the new skin. He must have, yeah, he probably did play it very recently, so like there's no retro. Is there a retro skin? You can use old icons. That doesn't make it old though, or at least this is only in battle, I think. Also, sometimes the old, I don't know if the old icons like still occasionally appear. Like, I mean, you can use old sounds. That's something. Although I don't think they've updated the sounds in like 13 years, so whether they're really new or not is up for discussion, but they definitely did update the sound effects at least that long ago.
Old monster sprites, the daily experience cap, anti-cheat measures, and the
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So there is like a daily cap on both your EXP and gold in this game. That's basically to prevent people from cheating and from like boosting a character from level 1 to level 150. There are ways to get around it, like well, I don't know if those even apply anymore. Let's hear what he has to say.
Baffling, overwhelming clash of styles which make up this beautiful, buggy, broken game. So grab a cup of tea and settle in, because this is one long adventure quest. Welcome.
Oh, he's using the old icon.
I'm Josh Strife Plays, and today we are returning.
Ah, shit.
What happened to adventure?
God damn it, I had to start all over.
Finish about critique the mechanics, that's me, as we return to the town of Babylon, back to a 2-year-old Flash game. So join me as we return to the town of Babylon, back to where it all began. I'll critique the mechanics, the story, the cultural impact of the game, pointing out the good, the bad, and the incredibly ugly. The old monster sprites, the daily experience cap, anti-cheat measures, and the baffling, overwhelming clash of styles which make up this beautiful, buggy, broken game. So,
oh yeah, you know, regarding the styles, like you see, you have like 6 like, main stats. It's basically how like you develop different styles. The best build for the longest time was Pure Mage. So Pure Mage would be like max Dex, max Intellect, some Endurance, and then max Luck, and then the rest was an Endurance. That literally carried basically everyone for like the past 22 years. It was all, I'm pretty sure it was always like the best build to use. If not, I think you would just like swap the Endurance and Luck, because some bosses were pretty ridiculous, even with the. Actually, no, it wasn't Pure. No, it was Beastmaster Mage. Yeah, that was it. It wasn't Pure Mage. It was a Beastmaster, because you'd have the power of spells, and you'd also have the battle damage of pets. Pets were They were something back then, all the way back then. Now I just use those pets that increase my own damage instead of, you know, dealing damage, because it turns out to be like about the same. Probably better because of lucky strikes, but that's not, again, that's neither here nor there. We're only 2 minutes in, and I've been talking about this video for 16 minutes. We're probably not going to get through all of the video.
So grab a cup of tea and settle in, because this is one long adventure quest. Welcome, I'm Josh Strife Plays, and today we are returning to the land of lore. As usual, a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube who keep the channel alive. More information on how you can support later. For now, let's begin. Specifically, let's begin with this guy, Artix von Krieger. Artix is an iconic character in the Adventure Quest extended universe, and is the in-game persona of this guy, Adam Bonn, original creator of Adventure Quest and the founder of Artix Entertainment. Now, Artix as it stands and Adventure Quest throughout the years has been made up of a team of people, but Adam is interesting to discuss because Adam is crazy. Now, I've discussed him briefly on this channel when I've looked at some of his other games, but let's do a quick history dive. His website describes him as the world's friendliest and craziest game designer, with the quote,
Probably,
"There are only two types of people in the world. Strive to be the third." Now, to put the crazy into perspective, when an interviewer asked Adam the weirdest thing he'd ever done, he replied, "We put on a live puppet show to announce the name of a video game. I invited a famous author and his friends to my house, and had an army of ninjas suddenly appear and serve dinner. We had a conference call with John Smedley, the CEO of Sony Online Entertainment at the time, and we had to mute our end so he would not hear all the clanging from the sword fighting with real swords."
Yeah,
Adam's website and a bunch of interviews with him from various sites all tell a similar story. Adam is obsessed with making games from when he was a kid up to this day. He says, "I failed over 1,000 times." That explains why there's so many Artix Entertainment games. I was trying to make a game, but I never gave up. There's a lovely bit of advice from Adam on his website, which is remarkably similar to the advice I offer people when they ask me how to make a game. This is what Adam says. "A lot of people think you just win or fail, but the truth is successful people fail over and over again, each time getting closer to achieving their ultimate goal. I finally finished a game. It was the original Adventure Quest. Even then, my closest online friends told me the game was so terrible that no one would ever play it. But after quitting and failing so many times, I hit my breaking point. As my finger was hovering over the delete key ready to obliterate the game and start fresh again, I decided to do something I had never done before. I decided to actually release the game, and then I committed to continuously improving it. And that is exactly what happened." Now, this attitude of perseverance and
Is that what the Guardian Dragon looks like now? God, that's fucking disgusting. I'd rather have the old Guardian, well, not the old Guardian Dragon, but like the old Guardian Dragon, like the one that you see in Dragon Fables and
the process of releasing what you have and then improving instead of waiting for perfection is exactly
no, it still looks
the way most things actually get made. So I have a huge amount of respect for Adam committing to this process, and in October of 2002, Adventure Quest released. It was a single-player RPG built in Flash but held online. You didn't need to download the game. Instead, you'd create an account and then log in, and all the required assets, background locations, weapons, and armor animations, enemies or drops would be downloaded and loaded in as you needed them. Now, because it didn't need
what does his build look like? Also, that's his ID. We can dox him, see what the... Actually, yeah, let's do that, if we can. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna have to open... Actually, wait, what am I doing? I have... I have a window right here. Hold on. Where... I'm trying to not to dox myself in the process. The process of trying to pull up my character thing. Does this still work? Yes. Okay. 88007735. We can't see much of his. So this character is only level 117. That's where he is now.
a download or a client, Adventure Quest would be accessible on tight security PCs like schools or public computers. And while Adventure Quest was free in the start, in 2003 they introduced the Guardian purchase, a one-time payment which supported the game and unlocks cool new armor styles, weapons, and the Guardian Tower location. Then in 2005 they added Z tokens, a microtransaction store which spread through the game. We'll look more at that later. Adventure Quest did relatively well for the time, but the Flash engine limited it, and the old hand-drawn enemies, some just being geometric shapes, combined with extremely simple animations, definitely aged the game, and many of these are still in the game today. But in 2006, Artix released Dragon Fable, another game which is actually a prequel to Adventure Quest, but doesn't always follow the same timeline. There are many similarities, but they're not.
Where do I begin with this one? That was the intention for Dragon Fable originally. And then as the games, all the games, like literally all the games progressed, they just kind of diverged into their own timelines. Like, Dragon Fable's story is not leading up to Adventure Quest at all. At all anymore. No, not even close. I mean, Doom Knight looks nice.
Not 100% canon. Still made in Flash, still turn-based, but graphically superior. Now the character walked along the screen instead of just each screen being effectively first person. There were more combat options, and you could raise and ride a dragon. This was followed by Mech Quest in 2007, similar gameplay but with robots, and then possibly the biggest technical leap, the MMORPG Adventure Quest World.
Oh god, no! God, I knew you'd be talking about the other games, but holy shit, this, man, I could probably log into that game and see what my character looks like now, because, it don't look so good. I'm a founder for this game, to be clear. I am I'm one of the oldest accounts on Adventure Quest Worlds, ever. But I don't know if they've, since taken that off, if they, delete, inactive accounts. I don't think they do. I mean, I still have the original email. I can still log in or reset my password if I wanted to, but I don't know. They might not have kept it, but considering they kept this, I mean, they kind of have to keep this because I paid real money for this. Yeah, I don't know, but Jesus Christ, this released when I was 12, so this was the hot shit back then for a year.
In 2008, which featured Dragon Fable-style side-facing click-to-walk gameplay, but set within the Adventure Quest world, allowing.
This is oh right, it's Enforcer. I was looking at the skills and I'm like, is he using Berserker? No, he's not. He's clearly using Enforcer. He's using the Jesus
hundreds
Christ.
of players to explore and battle enemies together. Adventure Quest World is actually still alive, but only available through the Artix launcher. They're actually currently porting the entire game to Steam and will re-release it under the name Adventure Quest Worlds in.
Oh, this is what. That's what they were talking about earlier. Re-releasing it, or hold on, let me listen to that again.
Porting the entire game to Steam and will re-release it under the name Adventure Quest Worlds Infinity, but that's not out yet. The original Adventure Quest itself would see a very small sci-fi sequel called Warp Force, which is only accessible through the Adventure Quest login screen. And from here, Artix entered their mobile game era, releasing Epic Duel in 2009, Oversoul in 2012, Battle Gems in 2014, Dragon's App in 2014, Undead Assault Runner in 2015, BioBeasts in 2016, and the Dungeon-born card game in 2019. In 2016, they'd returned for a second shot at the MMORPG genre with Adventure Quest 3D, which has seen pretty decent success on both Steam and mobile. Now, so many games in such a
I'm pausing here because a very recent developments, even newer than this video. This game is run on Unity. Yeah. Of all the companies to have to deal with Unity's bullshit, I am actually kind of sad that Artix is one of the companies that's having to deal with that. Oof. Maybe they don't run it on Unity anymore, but they did at some point. Or maybe they still do, but yeah, it's kind of a yikes.
A short time span runs the risk of placing quantity over quality, and that's definitely something we'll see come up later. Adam's original attitude of release then improve is great, but when improve becomes leave to languish and just move on to another product, repeat several times over, you end up with a lot of player bases all feeling forgotten about and yet all very well monetized. Every fan base of every Artix game feels that they have been left behind, and in a way, they're all right.
So he's looking at the Reddit communities, right? MechQuest is the smallest. That's because the game died. I don't remember when. I think it was like I don't remember the year. But it was a very, 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 very long time ago. Like, to be fair, the main quest or the main storyline kind of just ended. So I don't think they had, like, maybe they ran out of ideas. Maybe, I don't know, they couldn't find a way to improve the combat much. I mean, look at Dragonfable now. There's a bunch of like newer classes, newer items to use, new challenge fights. It's like like the end challenges basically carry the entire release, and like the fact that the story isn't actually finished yet. But yeah, MechQuest is very small comparatively speaking because the game died, literally.
They're all right. I also need to acknowledge there's a decent amount of community controversy around Artix Entertainment as a company and Adam's more recent promises of improvements which were never fulfilled. Some of this is overblown drama, while some is rightfully deserved critique. In this video specifically, I'll be focusing on Adventure Quest as a game and not the working culture around Artix as a whole. So with Flash gone, Adventure Quest, Dragonfable, and MechQuest faded into online obscurity. However, Artix didn't want the games to die, so they worked on their own self-contained launcher. For any tech nerds out there, it's an Electron app coded in JavaScript which contains all the Flash plugins held locally. So let's boot up Adventure Quest, make a brand new character, and go and save lore. Now personally, I like Artix games. I've played Adventure Quest years ago, I've got a dragon amulet in Dragonfable, and one of my most prized MMORPG items is a Founder's Dragon Pet from Adventure Quest Worlds. But
I have that. I have that too.
As I've said before, new players cannot play through my memories, so I'm going to leave my personal bias to the side, start a brand new character, and judge it purely for what it is now. First, pick a class. You've got 3 basic classes: Fighter, Mage, and Rogue. Although class selection used to matter, it doesn't anymore because you can train any stat and can swap classes freely once you've done more class quests.
Yes. I think the whole point of having so many classes to train was just, it's like like I don't think it really like ever mattered. Like there's just like so many like branching paths, and like the sheer fact you can freely swap the classes, there's like no repercussion to it. It was like, sure, be whatever you want. It's also like that in Dragonfable, although like base class you kind of have to swap for a fee, which is kind of a bummer. But considering that the best class is far and away Riftwalker and not Cryptic, Cryptic got fucked in more recent updates of the game, which is kind of sad. But Ascendant I don't think was really ever good because it only boosts defenses and not avoidance, which is big deal. And it also has a really rigid rotation where like if you kind of like deviate from it, you just lose out on a shit ton of damage. Again, we're almost 9 minutes in, and we've been going on for half an hour. We're gonna be here a while.
The game has a ton of classes, and most of them require mastery in several previous before you can start training them, like a pyramid. So we make a face and oh wow, remember the old Newgrounds
oh god,
dress up games? This is that. Now the art style.
Yeah, you notice that my face is much more expressive and detailed. Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss the old faces at all.
Is iconic, but as we'll see, it gets extremely eclectic. Log in and they offer a tutorial, so let's play it. You can also see the message to the top letting you know your weapon has scaled with you and does level appropriate damage. Welcome to the town of Battlon. This is Twilly, your Moglin guide. Click through the text and we're shown the important local hangouts: Yulgar's Inn, Rabina Hood's archery shop, Warlick's mage shop, the Frogzard Hunter's home, the Guardian Tower in the distance, and then the mountain range where you can just go and fight random enemies. The mountain range used to be a button which just said battle monsters, but that's been updated. So let's go and battle some monsters, since this is the main mechanic the entire game revolves around. You on the left, them on the right. Older players may remember the game looking a bit more like this. Now don't worry, those...
Oh god. Alright, this was before my time.
Ancient background.
We thought this looked ancient. Oh my dear Jesus. Now it's like I'm looking at a fossil.
And janky enemy designs are all still there. We'll find them pretty soon. You can see your red HP, blue MP for spells, and green skill points for unique attacks, but I'll refer to those as special points because skills are something else. You can actually click these bars to show your experience bar, toggling between experience gained so far and experience remaining to the next level. If you cursor over your portrait to the bottom left, you'll see your character stats. The combat defense numbers means how likely you are as a percent to dodge an incoming attack of that style.
Is that percentage? I don't think that's percentage. It's just a stat, and then like the monsters roll like a random number between like 60 and like 160 based on what I've seen.
Assuming the enemy has no bonuses.
I actually have played this kind of sort of not really recently. Well, 8 days ago is what it said last.
The hit. Your 6 main attributes affect damage, output, or health. We'll see more info on this when we train our stats. And your element modifier shows how much damage you'll take from attacks of that specific element. So lower is better. If it's 0%, you take no damage. Then you've got...
That's never going to happen, especially not in this day and age when they modify the damage. Like the items here, like the items nowadays that are being released, they don't do that anymore. They actually, they don't directly reduce your element modifiers. They instead just reduce the damage that of an element that you take by, at best, 50%. So it'll never hit 0. Like, it'll literally never hit 0. Like, I think the best you can get is, like, hitting 13%, and then the most damage, and then, like, you start using an item, and then it's like 6.5%. You can never hit 0 ever again. I think they tried. Some people have tried in much older versions of the game, which are obviously no longer accessible.
Health and mana potions and any active statuses shown to the side. You can also cursor over an enemy's portrait in this.
Wait, how old is your... Oh, yeah, he won't have the... If you're neutral, I don't think you'll see this. Or you might, I don't know, I don't know about older armors that, like, have absolutely, like, 0 armor lean. Like, it's just, like, ×1 instead of ×1.25. I like fully offensive. I like fully offensive armors, personally. I just think they're cool. They're neat. There are some, like, newer leans where it's, like, spellcaster leans where you still take this damage, but your armor attacks don't deal as much. Like they deal like fully defensive, so like 0.8 damage, but your spells do more damage. So I don't know. I'm kind of like a hybrid. I'm just kind of like do whatever the fuck because I have strength and intellect as my main stats.
The same way and get the same information. Now what you really care about are the dodge ratings and the element modifier. You want to attack the enemy with the highest element modifier number, because higher means they'll take more damage. If by mistake you attack an enemy and they have a negative modifier in that element, they'll actually heal from the damage you do. So here's the turn menu. Quick note, you can actually click on the graphical edging and cycle through holiday specific ones like this. Use it as you like. Your basic option is attack. This just smacks the enemy with your equipped weapon. Now some weapons have alternative attacks like magic staves casting a spell, or super rare hidden special attacks like the Blade of Ore summoning a dragon or using the power word die ability.
So some of these, I think this is like one of the few exceptions. Like Blade of Ore is like unbelievably complicated. There's like 5 specials, they all do different things, and the damage formula is just fucked. I'm sorry, like that is just fucked.
The game
it is ultimately just multiplication and like exponents, and like it's basically multiplication, division, and exponents, but like it's just fucked.
doesn't tell you these secret attacks exist, you just randomly do them sometimes. Now just be aware there are roughly 3,000 different weapons in the game. I count.
Not all of them are good.
Ally Assist is a new option. 5 times a day you can call on one of 5 NPCs to jump in and do massive damage for you of a certain element, and once you've used up your 5 a day, you can pay premium currency to reset them. Spells are just magical attacks. Now any class can cast spells as long as you have a spell scroll in your...
That's a bit misleading. He'll probably explain it later, but I can only cast spells because I have MP. I have 2,600 mana points. However, if you have 0 intellect, you only have like 100. You only have 100, so you can't cast the MP spells, but you can cast SP skills or SP spells. You know, a little bit of you got to be more specific when you say you can cast any spell as long as you have enough whatever.
Inventory, it will appear on this little quick access bar. Spells are found in shops and cost MP to cast. Casting a
Not all of them not all of them cost MP. Some of them cost SP instead.
Spell does not use up the scroll, it only costs MP, and there are about 900 spells in the game. Now here's where the game starts to get interesting with skills. Your available skills list depends on your currently equipped armor. Now this ties into class training quests, because to buy a specific armor, you must be on that class quest line, but you can equip any armor you have. There are roughly 875 different armors, several of which can't be obtained anymore due to holiday or event restrictions, some of which are rare drops from enemies or long questline potential rewards and are only bought with premium currency.
What he's referring to are things like limited time stuff. So I have a shit ton of things that you can't get anymore. Most of them are just holidays. Some of them were just like from the time period. Most of them nowadays are golden gift boxes. I don't remember which ones are actually rare. The one I'm still using is Pixel Hero. That was in a gift box like 10 years ago, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. It was probably 10 years ago. Ancient Relic of the Past 8-Star Soldier. Yeah, I'm reacting to this video. What I didn't expect is that it was 2 hours long and not 20 minutes long. So, yeah, I'm just reacting to it because I've never watched it. It has 1 million views, and Artix himself even acknowledged the fact that this video existed, and then like people started like mass playing it now. But I just wanted to flex on people and show you that I have maxed out my character. So also, this is an old name, and I'm unintentionally doxing, well, intentionally but unintentionally doxing myself here because I can't change my name. You can't change your name easily in this game, which is fucking stupid, but whatever.
Thankfully, the most popular and useful class armors in the game are all available through the in-game gold shops. Now, you can change your class freely and wear class armor freely, so you don't need to be counted as the same class as armor you're wearing. So if you're counted as a Dragon Slayer, because the last class trainer you spoke to was the Dragon Slayer, you can still equip the wizard armor, but the wizard armor will have some passive buffs that only apply if you're also a wizard class. Some classes are objectively better than others, but most are viable for casual play. We'll look at training classes later, but skills are how you access class abilities, and you'll unlock more abilities the higher up in the class you are. Classes have what I call major skills, which are actual things that count as your turn, and minor skills, which are usually toggling beneficial stances on or off. These don't count as your turn. Then in items you'll find your health and mana potions, and what we call miscellaneous accessories, usually things that you can equip which grant buffs, and there are about 570 of these. Now, attacking with your equipped weapon, calling an ally, casting a spell, using a major class skill, or using a potion all count as your turn, but there are things that you can do without taking your full go. Equipping or changing a miscellaneous item, changing weapons, changing shields, swapping from armor sets, or calling your pet to battle do not count as your go, so you can do all of those as much as you like.
That didn't used to be the case. sometimes, most of the time actually, you needed to, you wasted a turn calling a pet. That used to be the case for a long time. And the same applied if you're trying to summon a guest, like Daimyo here. Yes, summoning guests and pets used to cost your entire turn. It would waste your turn, basically. So if you weren't prepared from the get-go, it would be absolutely dreadful trying to set up just your first turn in combat. Oh my god. This is too much. I'm trying to watch, but I'm also trying to explain all the nuances of the game or what used to be the game and how things used to be. Things were much worse back then. It was the fact that pets used to take a turn. That was so bad. It got to the point where they made a miscellaneous item just to make the switching pets free. You use it you equip it, you click on it, and then you would just choose a pet to summon, and it would not cost a turn. That used to be a huge deal. It was one of the it was probably one of the worst mechanics that they had in the entire game. And I'm glad they finally fucking removed it. I mean, I think it took a long time for pets and guests to not take up your turn when you tried summoning them or changing them. Oh my god. I'm so glad I can do them for free now because it was fucking terrible back in the day. You know, your first turn is everything. And even this, right? Ready inventory before battle. You did not have this option for 13 years. Yes, the game was that bad back then. You could not set up before your turn. Jesus. Man, this game came a long way. But yeah, back then, you look back at it now as an adult, or that's me right now, and it was fucking terrible. You know what game was never terrible on release? Dragon Fable, but that's for another day.
On your turn. Now, quick graphics note, some armor sets will override your equipped weapon or shield visuals. You'll still be using them for stat purposes, but you won't see them. When that happens, you'll see the icons of what you're equipped with down here under the big Q. Some weapons or armor actually do stuff when you click on them in-game, like you've put them on your character and then clicked on the actual visual. They can change elements, they can increase their defense. This is usually a gimmick and never actually needed. Oh, if you're worried the game...
Never actually... Sir... Sir? Some of them literally require you to click on them for them to be useful elsewhere. You literally just mentioned, oh, you can switch your elements, or you can switch your attack type, or you can switch. That is not quote unquote unneeded. Fuck off.
The game doesn't sound the way you remember it. That's fine. Hop into options and choose old sounds and old icons. There we go. Much better. You'll notice in this tutorial fight, Artix is fighting alongside us, and this is a thing which can happen sometimes. NPCs can just join you, and you'll find having certain NPCs and taking them to other places is a pretty decent tactic. Now, when you win, you'll get some experience and some gold, and if you like grinding, you'll run into major issues with both of these in a few hours. We'll see why soon. But what if you don't win, like in this scripted battle against Drakath, the skeletal dragon? Well, Death sends you to Death's realm, but he agrees to send you back to the world of the living for a small favor. There's a minigame here, which we'll play soon. Back in the world of the living, Artix gives us his axe as a present, and this opens the shop interface. Pretty decent layout, shopkeeper, buttons to switch between buying from them and selling your own inventory to them. But interesting note, while your own face is an item, you cannot sell it. Items have 3 little buttons over here giving a description, a graphical preview, and then the stats, which is all fine, but the graphical preview button is broken on so many items because they don't fit into the box, or they're placed so far off center the window cuts them off. This is the first example of a lack of polish, and we'll see a lot more later. So we...
I mean, it's trying to, Because like almost everything is kind of like being quote unquote held in the same position. So yeah, they kind of even like you'll see it when like you equip, like when you're using a class or an armor that actually equips the stuff. Like you'll see a lot of things are out of place. But I mean, yeah, it's a 22-year-old game, man.
Buy the axe, then get to meet the cast of characters and shown the world map. We're also told, hey, if we upgrade our new character to a guardian within only 72 hours of its creation, we'll get extra bonuses. Look, I've not even played the game yet, dude. Let me play the game before pushing premium on me. Calm down. Now we're onto the main town screen. Huge scroll with the latest news to the left, 2 big red buttons guiding me to the elite premium item shop, which is a combination of fear of missing out and latest event. A big guardian timer counting down until I lose the super amazing upgrade deal, a travel scroll which opens the world map, and 4 yellow exclamation marks. So let's click on one. This is Valencia, a rare item hunt.
Actually, do you want to see my character page? This is kind of fraudulent. Like a lot of them are like really small, like character wins. I think this is the only war that I cared about, and it's not even like that much. But to be fair, if you want to participate in a war, you have to sacrifice your entire like weekend to be like any good. And yes, I have a lot of items. That is a lot. Oh boy. Why is this like... Why are some of these bolded? Are they like rare? They might be rare. Yeah, they might signify that that item is rare. Like you can't get it anymore. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm fucking... I'm borderline schizophrenic. Not really. Yes, I am stacked. Well, this character's stacked. Also, shoutouts to Aerodu, which is far and away the best clan. Clans don't really matter anymore, do they? I don't think they matter anymore. They haven't mattered
mostly
in, like,
pushes the
20
cash
years.
shop. In fact, 5 of her 7 chat options are related to Z tokens, premium currency, but there are 2 main designs with Valencia I'd like to point out. Take note how on the right she has 7 choices and they all fit neatly within the overall white text box border. But clicking the first option, enter the Z token shop, brings up this chat box all about Z tokens and where to spend them. It has 6 choices and they overflow the white box bounds, so we're starting to see a lack of consistency in design.
Bro, they're not going to fix this. I've just dealt with it. This is kind of like a really nitpicky thing that I've just like ignored over the years.
But how about this? See how you can click back from that little black tab? Well, from her main chat tree, the first 2 options have back choices. The third doesn't, but has maybe later in its own choice box. The fourth has close, which cancels the interaction entirely. And the last, have you heard of any rumors, doesn't have any way to go back at all. You're presented with the start of 2 small quests and now have to pick one of them. Now I know that I'm dealing with 22-year-old design here, but I'm going to be honest, Adventure Quest is incredibly inconsistent. It's almost as if every part of it was designed from whatever felt the best looking idea at the time and is not tied to any previous choices. It feels like there's no greater design document for visual consistency. Here's a few examples of baffling inconsistency. And get ready because I'm about to be extremely pedantic. They've had 20 years to change this. The Artix Launcher Adventure Quest game's choice are 3 buttons, setting up a shape scheme of straight edges and a color scheme of red, green, and white, with flourished fantasy font for play. The character select screen has red and gold buttons with white and yellow text, or a dull grey button with thin black text for making a new character. And when you do make a new character, you'll see that the text box that Artix has this vertical black line running down where the outward bit showing its speech bubble is. Other speech bubbles do not have this. And when you pick your class, you'll notice the class logos are circles but they are not centered. In the game on the main screen, this is a button. Red background, gold trim, white text. The whole graphic is clickable. This looks absolutely fine. When you cursor over the button, a gold flourish highlight lets you know this is clickable. This is great design. But this is another button on the same page. Different shape and text color, and only the small red square is clickable. And when you cursor over this...
Wait, what? What is he talking about?
Different shape and text color, and only the small red square is clickable.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking. I don't know what he's talking about here. It's just like the inside of the button, bro. You were literally just praising this design, and now you're shitting on this one because it doesn't touch the border, or like you're touching the border, but it's still not highlighted. It does the exact same thing here, bro.
And when you cursor over this, you get a text box to the top right with added info, which we didn't get before. Today's event is consistent enough with elite items and limited time shop using the same button, but it's also the only button in all caps and doesn't have an exclamation mark. This is another button on the same page. Stylized travel map, brown text also gives the information to the top right. Now I can see why they'd make a map like this, and hopefully it stays consistent within or with other maps within the game. Spoilers, it does not. Opening the map gives us consistency in the red and gold color scheme for travel locations, but now buttons have this golden flourish around the edge. Close the map has bold white text, while travel confirmation has this thin yellow text, and varies between confirming travel with a go with 1 exclamation mark, go with 2, or location specific text. Unless you're traveling to a Guardian only location, which will have a yellow ring around the location and white text. Although if you look closely, you'll see that the yellow Guardian only rings are not actually centered to the buttons they're meant to be on, and several of them are slightly misaligned. On the map, you've got...
I hope this isn't the rest of the video. I'm kind of worried it's the rest of the video.
Thin black text for names of locations you can travel to, apart from the times it's bold black.
Like, we fucking get it. It's not consistent. Move on.
Text, or red text, or bold red text, or larger font, thin red text in a slightly
I'm actually about to fucking skip this.
Or slightly smaller bold text in a different red.
We get it.
One of the only things on screen all the time is your character's stat panel, and thankfully the close map text color being white does match your character's stat panel, except your name has a soft drop shadow and close map does not.
Oh my
well, I say this matches.
God.
It matches until you open the stat panel because text on
Who
there...
actually had the attention span to listen to this? Come on, bro.
...is black and blue. But remember how Valencia has a...
Okay, it does have... Okay, see, the Arlene is neutral. Like, see, like, I thought it would, but, like, it's kind of weird that you didn't see it at all in the tutorial.
White text box with colored buttons within it, green, yellow, and light red, and then her own name is featured to the top and has a closed tab at the bottom. Well, if we pop into the inn, we can see Yulgar has a white text box, but only for his dialogue, not for the choices you can choose from.
God, I'm about to fucking delete this. I'm about to delete this window. This is too much.
And his name is separated into a light orange background shape.
Like,
he also uses the gold flourished buttons and white text, which is pixelated compared to the Yellow Devourer Saga text to the bottom. Well, most of his text is pixelated. If you click into the shop options, the back option isn't. And the black tab that we use to close is now a grey circle in the top right. But if we talk to Hans, literally right next to Yulgar, the white talking to Hans is progressed by clicking specifically the talk to Blackhawk. You can see the button length has been stretched to fit more text on. Also, Blackhawk doesn't have a grey X to the top right of his text button or else in dark yellow. Cutscenes have a click anywhere to continue text in a font that I don't think is used anywhere else in dark yellow, with an orange drop shadow and then a black drop shadow under that. In fact, font choice is seemingly random, because look at this box. That letter fonts
a
much older style, keeping the color scheme but no flourish and flatter textures, and then in conversation you progress by clicking the white more box. I mean, so far at least the conversation buttons and choices have consistently been underneath or within the text boxes of NPCs, but not if you talk to Rebina Hood, because her button menu to menu like the left. Also, notice how the buttons themselves are not static from menu to menu, like there's shift, slightly draw, unless you talk to Warlick, where they're double which both double and triple stacked, here does have a point. Clicking these options triggers an event to happen immediately. So maybe yellow means final option triggers event, but no, because in between click anywhere to continue and click on the actual dialogue box prompt, and button text color is inconsistent from yellow to white, both of them seemingly having no specific. Warlick's shop has white bold text with a flourished arrow. The pet shop has yellow text with the older arrow design. The Frogzod Hunter has the flourished arrow with yellow text, and in Yulgar's Inn, the Back to Town chat option, which slightly overflows the white text box. But at least the closed text box is consistent. Well, no, because on Yulgar, fight and have icons to the left of each of them. But if we pop over to the icons on the right-hand side of the buttons this time, and if you cursor over these, you get a little gold triangle to the left showing your currently selected button, which I never saw used again, and the stat distribution screen uses tick boxes.
Please tell me I'm watching the right... Is this the right video? Why is he going on and on about the inconsistency of the... Okay, we fucking get it. This goes on for another 20 minutes? Are you serious? This goes on for another 20 minutes? Can I just skip this entire... I would love to skip this entire rant, because I fucking get it. Like, you don't have to tell me.
Is with a green cross mark, and the back button isn't where it says exit. Is not only a slightly bigger font, it has a more intense drop shadow. Different button. Even if we grey as it moves from left to right, but for some reason, the flea menu is the same in every aesthetic except the wooden stake style, where it's an entirely white background. And now a baffling design choice based on graphics being tied to the armor that you are wearing. If the enemy attack roll against you fails and you're wearing incredibly old armor, you will see the yellow word block.
Oh my
8
god.
in the top right with the numbers in yellow. Every room is designed differently, with different fittings, shapes, sizes, carpets, walls, even different builders working on it. Yes, they're all part of the same mansion, but they feel different enough to be noticeably out of place. I bring up a lot of this on the unofficial Discord, which honestly has been a shield, armor, item, and pet selection when you're in a battle or in a shop, and you can only rearrange stuff while you're in a shop to use them, and this is the really dumb system. Every time you level up, you gain 5 skill points, and you can assign these to one of the 6 stats in blocks of 5. So why not just 1 point per level? Doesn't matter, but that's not even the dumb thing. The dumb thing is when you've finished assigning points, you pay gold to commit the points to those stats, but you don't pay per point assigned, you pay based on the total end value of the stat after you've assigned everything. And these end values are independent of others. So consider this. Imagine I have 15 strength, like I do on screen, and I put 5 points into it. It will cost me 24 gold if this is the number I want to end at. So 24 gold to upgrade to 20 strength. If I do this and then put 5 more points into to go to 25 strength, it will cost me 30 gold to do this. That's a total of 54 gold paid in 2 transactions to end at 25 strength. But if I was to just put in 10 points from the beginning and went from 15 to 25, I would only pay 30, because you pay based on the number you end the transaction at, not total stat points spent along a path. And paying for one final number is cheaper than paying for multiple final numbers to reach the same final number, even if the amount of skill points spent is ultimately the same. What this means is you don't ever want to train your stats until you've got enough gold to just pay for the final number you want to be at, because that's cheaper. This system discourages people from training in short bursts when you have...
You're fucking level 6. Stats don't matter. They only start mattering when, like, you actually have enough stats to cost, or like enough stats for it to matter. Say you have like 100 points, right? That's when like it really starts to matter, because you'll start falling off, literally, compared to monsters. 30 is nothing.
Have the stat points available to you. A level up moment isn't...
I'm not, by the way, I'm not defending it. I agree that it's dumb, but at the same time, like, this, like, early into the game, it does not matter. I tell you right now, it does not matter.
Go train stats. It's I should get a few more levels and then bulk train stats. Don't want to pay too much. This is a baffling level up design process. You've replaced small, incremental, noticeable gains with wait for one massive boost, which doesn't work for casual players. And now for the classic graphics, the beautiful background. Look at that, the finest MS Paint can supply. Look, as dated as this looks, you need to remember this game was the result of one person's passion and then years of consistency before succeeding enough to have a team to work on it with him. So these old backgrounds, and in this case the enemy sprite, they have a real aura of genuine love to them. They're definitely not pretty, but they've got an undeniable low-budget charm. I find an animal box with a Zot companion which follows me around for a while, and then Twilly has some helpful advice. Visit the Moglin Forest, defeat 20 enemies. It's a low-level quest. How hard can it be? Twilly is literally the tutorial. Well, it's very hard. I can defeat one. Now, Adventure Quest is a very open game. We'll look at how overwhelmingly open it is pretty soon, but the mix of old design and new design is very obvious. New design is often level scaled quite nicely and is possible to complete at most levels, and old content is not, and there's no level range suggestion for places or quests. Well, okay, that's not totally true. The travel map has locations grayed out if you are under-leveled for them, and it lists the level range that it suggests for them in the description, provided it's grayed out. But once you are that level, the level range is removed. So you don't know what's a suggested level 10 zone or a level 100 zone once you are level 100. Just kind of go there and find out. Twilly also tells you about your moral compass, a system which tracks your alignment from good to evil and unity to chaos, and certain quests have choices which can move this, and your final position can affect certain spells, equipable items, or cutscenes, and I end up very, very slightly good. So let's talk about the open nature of the game, because my god, it is open, and by open I mean most quest lines don't need you to actually play through them. You can start them wherever. In the middle of a narrative is fine. You can just jump to the final boss if you want to. You see, while Adventure Quest does have a plot, indeed quite a deep and fleshed out one, it doesn't have a quest list or a journal. It's designed as a lunch break size RPG. Every individual quest or moment is very short, so the game doesn't record if you've done them or not. It just lets you jump in at any point. It's up to
you know what does keep track? Dragon Fable. Play that instead.
You to remember where you are in any given quest line. Here's an example. Use the travel map to travel to Darkovia Forest, a vampire versus werewolf storyline. The storyline begins here, then progresses onward, and if you want the narrative context, you have to play through each red circle on the map. The game won't record that you've done this, so unless you keep very good track, you might end up replaying parts. But what if you just want to jump to the boss fight at the end? Yeah, you can do that, that's fine. You won't have the narrative context for what you're doing, but you can do it. If you chat to the folks,
oh my god, she looked like
Hunter in
that.
Town, he has a 4-part quest series where you can just jump to part 4. Or, for a more egregious example, you can click the Devourer Saga button in Yulgar's Inn. The Devourer Saga is considered the main storyline, and while it isn't the first epic quest in the game, it's the longest and most challenging. It's 73 quests long, and from this menu you can jump to any part of it instantly. You don't need to have done parts 1 through 72 to actually go and fight the boss. Another example, talk to Sage Uldor in Yulgar's Inn accesses the Burning Solstice quest chain, but again, every bit is open from the start. In some ways, Adventure Quest sees progression as a barrier to fun, and so lets you jump in wherever, which will become hugely ironic when we bump into the daily experience cap later. It's a game which wants you to do anything, but not too much. The open nature of quests and quest change can lead to some surreal, emotionless moments. For example, later on I'm going to need a spell called Destruction Burst, which means I'll need to go to Dragon Spine, then skip to part 23 of a quest chain, kill the boss and buy the spell. And in any other RPG, getting to part 23 and receiving a very powerful spell would be a reward for finishing parts 1 through 22, but not in Adventure Quest. There's even another example where I was doing a quest and then went to train a class, and the class had released after the quest had finished within the timeline, and I met a dead character whom I did not know was meant to be dead or dies at the end of the quest I was doing, so slight spoilers for myself there. So the game is open, intimidatingly so for new players as there are so many choices and no suggested paths, but I explore around the inn and I find a potion bottle with a label that says "Drink Me," a reference to Alice in Wonderland, and so I do it, and it shrinks me down and I run inside a mouse hole, cue a series of battles against giant insects. Most quests are just a series of text boxes followed by a series of battles, because that's basically all Adventure Quest is. Now normally you'll face 2 battles in a row, then get a full heal, both health and mana. No one knows how you get healed between battles, you just do. But in a cool touch, you actually do find out later. It's ninjas. And now an issue with helpers. In a fight, you've got yourself, then sometimes an NPC helper in the distance, and a summoned pet in the foreground. You can dismiss your pet at any time, or tell it to stop attacking via the menu. But NPC companions are an issue, because they don't stop attacking, and you can't dismiss them in a fight. And if the enemy has a negative resistance to the element of that NPC, they will heal from the NPC's attacks. Meaning sometimes you can bring along someone assuming they're going to help you, and they end up healing the enemy. It's rare, but it does happen. The boss of this little subquest is Yulgar the Innkeeper's Boots, and the reward is access to a special shop. That's usually the reward for most quests, and you can buy a paperclip, which acts as a weapon. I explore the map some more. There's a town of Nikos, or Weeb Cats, down here. I think I will avoid that place. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of map locations you could go to, but let's go and get the Terror set. That sounds pretty cool. This is a mini quest about the Master Terror.
Oh god. Oh, I remember this quest. It's wait, hold on a minute. He's starting to lose focus in this video. He's trying to find out. I was like, oh, is this really good? No, now he's just literally just exploring the game. Now he's just like literally exploring the game. I thought he was supposed to critique the game, but I don't know. I guess he's trying to have some fun with it. But also, yeah, I remember this fucking time. I don't know if they even updated the Terror set to include higher level versions now, because they used to be pretty dog shit. I mean, they weren't like terror bad, but I mean, like, oh man, maybe we could play that now. Can we play that now? Where was it? Where was it on the map?
Terror set.
Oh, it's right here. Where's the music? Where's the music? The music's gone. Oops. There's the music. What do I have right now? Oops. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna attack. This is what the gameplay looks like now, by the way. Oh, right, I forgot. This wheel deals wind damage, not dark. I deserve that, honestly. Oh, what's this look like? We're dealing too much damage. There we go. But they're only level 140. Oh, right, because it was like an entire like because it's all you pay entirely with Z tokens. That's why it costs so much. Which one was it? Creation first. Yeah, I almost killed him with one spell. Ah, this again. Should have used Poilala with this. Why am I not just using spells? remember to switch to the thing here. Oh. God damn it. What? How was I missing? I rolled a 92. Alright, fuck you, game. Why did I not do that much? Should have done more damage. I'm literally sapping my own life to attack more damage, because that's what this does. All right, let me switch to melee. I need to gain SP from doing this. Why is my accuracy so low? Accuracy is dog shit. Also, apparently your range damage keeps going up, or is that, I don't know if that's like temporary or permanent. Stop missing! God damn it. All right, I'll
That sounds pretty cool. This is a mini quest about the Master Terror terrorizing Battlon, and then Yulgar just smacks them around with some hammers because they caused a bar fight. This leads to a fight with an evil clown. Now, you might notice some quests are very serious with fights against serious enemies. Others are very light-hearted, almost satirical parodies of the genre with fights against silly enemies, and you'll be switching between these two vibes so fast you'll get whiplash. In fact, some quest lines which are meant to be super serious have quests in them which are literally just puns. Adventure Quest does not take itself seriously, but then tries to and fails. It's effectively an entire game made of pop culture references and early to mid 2000s internet culture and humor. It's very lol random. Remember 4-panel Rage comics, ironic handlebar mustache tattoos, or when everyone was obsessed with bacon? In fact, in Dragon Fable, bacon is considered an elemental force. It's puns and quips constantly. It's best to not think of Adventure Quest as a linear storyline, but more as a general vibe. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant having a nice meal and someone walks in, wearing a flame effect shirt, a kilt, and some light-up Heelys. They're listening to the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny on an old MP3 player using those pink jelly wired headphones, rocking frosted tips and fingerless gloves. And despite the eclectic appearance, everyone just seems to really like chatting to them. That dude is Adventure Quest. The game operates on sitcom logic. Characters start the same, have an adventure, end the same. There's continuity when it's convenient and none when it's too complex. It's a series of mechanics loosely held together by references and the overall feel of the game. But it's this loose connection and lack of polish which gives Adventure Quest that genuine, lovable, jank feeling. Old Adventure Quest is the opposite of many modern AAA games. Modern games are often highly polished and superficially smooth to play while feeling heartless.
Is he really saying that in the year 2023? Modern AAA games? Polished? You're lucky if it comes out as polished turd these days.
Shallow, devoid of genuine soul, passion, because the executives took over and focused on retention instead of just making a good game.
That's
Adventure
more
Quest
accurate.
feels genuine, but looks like, well, Adventure Quest. It's a pile of food cooked with passion and presented in a messy way. It's a song written and performed from the heart, even with all the dropped notes and slightly out of beat time signatures. It's a game made from love, and as janky as it is, that love bleeds into every moment, and it's hard to not love it. Oh, a side quest. When you click die, click on Death's Hourglass and he'll send you on a quest to go and get some more. This is a top-down click-to-move bit, closer to the Dragon Fable gameplay. It's dark and you've got a tiny ring of light around you. You'll find hourglasses in chests and avoid enemies, and you'll go, why are you still here? We are in the underworld. I commend your commitment to helping me. The battles in the underworld are mini-quests and are totally random, like this salamander which just wrecks me. I'm even out of assists, but I can pay 250 Z tokens for them, so you know what? Let's look at the cost of this game. The Guardian upgrade is a one-time payment for Guardian status, and I think that's a very fair way of supporting the game and gives access to a decent amount of content for its cost. My issue begins, however, with the Z token system. Z tokens are premium currency. The shop lists the discount for buying in bulk. A starter pack costs $15 and will give you 2,500 Z tokens, 100,000 gold, and some level 50 armor and weapons which can scale down and be equipped below 50. Or you can buy the other packs, which include several thousand tokens and one of a list of extras, meaning if you did want to unlock everything in this pack, you'd need to buy each pack multiple times. For example, the $100 pack gets you 50,000 Z tokens and one of 9 possible armor sets. These packages are the only place to get these sets, so if you did want to be a completionist and get all 9, you would need to buy the $100 pack 9 times. And remember, each Z token package, not just the $100 pack, has a lot of 1 per time unique items. The only real saving grace here is you can use a player vault, which again costs Z tokens to access, to transfer these items between your characters. You know, I never realized this as a kid because I never had the money to even bother looking at it, but Adventure Quest is extremely expensive if you want the higher level rares or cooler looking stuff. I mean, in the Z token shop, an ice katana is 5,940 tokens. That would need the $20 6,000 token pack to afford, and that's one weapon from one element. But we must at least respect that Z token pack does give you enough tokens to buy one of the higher level items and does.
I'm gonna stop you right there. It used to be worse than that. Much, much worse than that. See, I was there when these things were almost triple the price. I think they were or was it double? I don't remember. I don't remember if they were 12K a pop or 14K a pop. Either way, you have a good now. Cherish it.
Doesn't have just too few tokens encouraging you to buy the bigger pack. So at least you can say they are not abusively priced. When you start throwing on armor sets, shields, pets, spells, accessories, houses, or house ornaments, you can be pushing into the hundreds to thousands of dollars to gear a few characters up, and that's before the limited time items, seasonal shops, or spending 250 tokens to refresh your 5 ally assists. But while we're talking money, let's look at the most egregious.
You don't really need the assists. Certainly not at this level.
Egregious example, the golden gift boxes. You can buy one gift box for 250 tokens or 10 for 2,000 tokens. Every time you open a golden gift box, it has a chance of becoming a common, rare, or ultra rare shop. And you can take one item from the shop for free once you've opened it. Essentially, you're paying for the chance to access the good shop. Now, you don't need to take it immediately when you open it. You can save these up and these do stack. Guardians get one free golden box a month to open. And then there's a trade system where you can trade 25 common opened boxes up to a rare and 10 rares into an ultra rare. And the contents of these boxes can change monthly. But what are the actual chances of each shop opening whenever you open a golden box? Well, Artix Games don't have the exact numbers, easy to find, but the rumors on the forums seem to put the odds at 81% common, 16% rare, and 3% ultra rare. This means on average you'd need to open 33 golden boxes to find an ultra rare shop, which would cost just north of 6,000 tokens, which is the $20 pack. As it stands, the current ultra rare shop, which I haven't pulled out but you can freely browse, contains 68 different weapons, 52 armor sets, 5 shields, 48 spells, 22 pets, and 6 accessories. That is 201 items, only available one at a time from a 3% chance ultra rare golden gift box.
I'm gonna stop you right there again. You don't need all of these. Some of them are good. Some of them are not. We have several years of hindsight. Stop acting like we need all of that. You don't.
Box. Now, there's no way you'd be able to hold all these items due to an inventory limit, and most of them wouldn't work for whatever build you're going for. But if you did, for some reason, want to open 201 ultra rare boxes,
you wouldn't.
Assuming a rather stable estimate of $20 per one ultra rare box opened from 30 boxes, that would cost you on average just over $4,000 to access every item, and this ultra rare shop changes monthly.
Again, you don't need it.
If you approach Adventure Quest as a collect-em-all game, you're going to bankrupt yourself. You can't do it. Just buy whatever fits the build you're going for and try not to think about how much stuff there is that you'll never actually see. This big red demon isn't horizontally leveled on the battle screen, it's just looming over me. Look at it. What we will discover is that Arctics hate straight lines or consistency. Okay, my lack of potions by now is really starting to hurt me, so I Google how to refill potions and it says the Frogzard Hunter quest gives some. So I go through that and it kind of does, but they don't stay. Or I have to use them during the quest, which defeats the point. The most common advice seems to be just restart the client. Go and get the mage class and skip to power leveling. Adventure Quest has a bit of a problem with low-level content, as most guides or the remaining community seem to just assume everyone is high level. Honestly, it's not a good low-level experience, but okay, I can just power level. So here's the power leveling trick. Go and get the mage class. To start the mage class, I need to be level 10, so to get to level 10, I need some potions. So let's just do this instead. Go to Yulgar's Inn. Go right, talk to Sage Uldor, ask about the Burning Solstice campaign, and choose quest The Answer. Skip the cinematic, then get angry at yet more shapes of more buttons. Choose Battle, then Fight as War. Ignore all context needed to get here, because when you battle as War, you get given 25 potions, both health and mana. Win one fight, so the game is forced to save your data, then just close the entire client. Don't log out, just close the window. Reload the window, log back in, and you'll get to keep the 25 potions because the client uses last known information, and it just happens potions is one of those things. Adventure Quest isn't so much a game that you play as it is a mess of spaghetti code that you manipulate into doing what you want it to do.
Still better than RGG games and Game Freak doing Pokemon games.
So we grind to level 10 via combat, talk to Warlick and ask about the mage quest, and oh yeah, you just have to know where to go and who to talk to find any quest line. There's no guide, there's no comprehensive list. Some locations.
Does he actually browse the forums? There's gotta be one on the forums, right? Hold on, let me look through it real quick. Because there's gotta be one. It's gotta be like a beginner's or like a player's returning guide. Oh, maybe not. Oh, wait. Okay, maybe not. Adventure Quest is dead. Anyway.
Locations are found on the travel map. Some locations are the same named location accessed through an NPC conversation, which puts you in a totally different instance of that location. Now, the Mage Tower is an old questline and is hopefully getting revamped soon. You basically say yes to being a mage, then buy the robes, then fight through a tower to reach the top, and every floor is just a series of fights ending in a random chance to find the boss, and if you fail the chance, you have to do the floor again. The random roll does, however, have a boost based on one of your stats. For the Mage Quest, that's Intelligence, which is great. It's encouraging you, as you're doing the Mage Quests, level your intelligence for advantages, which is exactly what you want the player to be doing.
Yeah, I forgot. It's like another like UI thing. Like on the stat roll thing, I'll say intelligence, but on the screen, stat screen, it's intellect.
Mage robes, you can access the mage skills, which look like this. Notice the black joining bars between skill progression nodes. They're not straight or uniform lines, and see the animated mage graphic at the top? Fighter armor doesn't have that. Wizard armor doesn't have that. Dragon Slayer, Knight, Archer, only Mage gets an animated swirly.
Oh my god, he's
icon.
going
Mage
back
robes
to
are
ranting
older
about the...
armor and
Oh my
look it.
god,
So we fight
please,
through the
no,
tower,
stop.
rolling after every few fights to see if I find the boss, take it down with a load of potions, and become Mage level 1. This gets me the Elemental Orb skill. When you use the Orb skill, you can choose which element you want to cast a spell of, effectively meaning you've now got a hard-hitting spell, strong against everything, which is good because now we're fighting worms. Basically, Mage is such high damage, it's the only viable class for power leveling until we unlock a Wizard, and while I don't want to power level, the unforgiving scaling and the fact most of the good stuff is at high levels means I kinda need to. Remember we looked at the consistent inconsistency? To cast an Elemental Mage skill, you must click Skill on this rectangle menu with white text, then Elemental Sphere on this red button menu with yellow text, then choose from an element on this list of beige buttons with black text. That's 3 different style menus to cast one skill. And to really add insult to injury, the list of elements that you choose from is not in the same order as the list of elements on your or your opponent's stat panels. Oh, I also found this flower in a box, which is now my companion and does light damage. Finish the second level of the tower, get the second mage skill. There's no way to see what the skill actually is unless you're in combat and open the skills tree, because there's no out of combat skills tree or explanation for any of them. Knowing I'm going to be mage for a while, I head to the stat trainer and use the untrainer to reset my skills and dump everything into intelligence. I take a quick jaunt around the world to test my new mage powers. Head to Dragonstone via the map and chat to Galanoth the Dragon Slayer. I need to be level 30 to train as a Dragon Slayer and also a Guardian. I ask, what is a Dragon Slayer? And he explains the class. Then I ask about the Dragon Blade, and he asks if I want a quest for it, and I say yes, and he says, sorry, Guardians only. So I click Guardian info, or done, assuming done will take me back to the start of the conversation with Galanoth, but no, done just throws you all the way back to Battlon. With my mage skill, I can start the fighter questline, because you don't actually need to use skills of that style to advance that questline. I can use Elemental Orb on every enemy and just complete the fighter quests, but as a mage. The Adventure Quest has 4 base classes you can train immediately, known as Tier 1 classes, then a few Tier 2 classes, which need you to have progressed in some Tier 1.
Why did he go from trying to access a Tier 2 class and then explain the Tier 1 classes and actually train, like... What is this?
Few Tier 3 classes that need progress in Tier 1 and 2. Currently, the only Tier 3 classes are Paladin and Necromancer. I'll get Paladin later.
No, that's Tier 3, bro.
I returned to grinding, and while I'm doing this, I put a tweet out about what I'm playing when I was making this video, and the response was incredible. So many people remember playing Adventure Quest, or Artix games in general. It's strange how this is such a well-known experience, and yet is so often missing from discussions about online RPGs. Train some more skills and training skills resets your equipped items even on the same session, because it just does. I think the best way to describe Adventure Quest is it's like a house of cards, except every card is from a different deck. Some are from a different game entirely. You've got playing cards, Pokemon cards, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Battlestar Galactica, the Lord of the Rings game, Warhammer card game, some tarot cards, a baseball card, one of them's just an unfolded instruction bit from the middle of a Kinder Surprise. It all makes one house, just don't look too specifically at any individual bit. Have a chat with Warlock and decide to check out some of his random quests. This one has him disappearing, and we need to team up with a doctor and his kids Gally and Frey, who look strangely like Fry and Leela from Futurama, to save him. There's also a police Zard called the Zardis, and the Daleks are salt shakers. Not animated, just straight up photos of salt shakers. Thankfully, the enemy description lets us know this is a joke monster. We travel to the past to save Warlock, but again, the game is sitcom logic. It's just a playground of design, a series of puns before fights. And you know what? Let's try and follow a storyline, an actual plot. Let's travel to Darkovia and follow the map icons in what I assume is plot order and see if I can legitimately beat it. Starting here. Some Moglins are having trouble with local vampires and we save them from some bats. New mechanics. Sometimes you'll fight 2 or 3 enemies at the same time, and there's inconsistency here too. Sometimes a group of 2 or 3 enemies will share one health bar, and they'll die as you lower the overall health. Other times, like this, you can individually select which enemy you are attacking, and any excess damage will just carry over to the other enemies, making it functionally work exactly the same. But again, little random quirk of design, you will always start off automatically aiming at enemy number 1. Once you kill them, you'll then switch to whichever the final enemy is, either 3 or 4. And after you kill them, you'll then switch back to 2 and then 3 if they're still alive. Fight through several waves of vampires, and it seems that vampires have switched from feeding on humans to feeding on moglins, as humans were killing them too often. Oh, when you finish a map location, the red dot remains exactly the same, so just keep track of where you are. Fight on and run into some werewolves. It seems as a vampire versus werewolf civil war. Unfortunately, this fight has a bug which makes the game unwinnable. 2 werewolves. 2 separate tracked health bars, or in theory there should be. But each turn, each werewolf regenerates 14 health. But the regen effect carries over from one werewolf to the next. So if I'm focusing on killing one wolf, instead of that wolf restoring 14 hit points each turn, it is instead restoring 28, because it is taking the regen from the other wolf and using it on its health bar, which is out-healing my damage. Which also defeats the point of them having 2 separate health bars if their regen effect can affect somebody else's health bar. So I can't do this yet. How about Varinskew Keep to the south? Hunt down 8 rare scrolls. Oh cool, a potion bag. Oh nope, Guardians only, can't use it. And here's a list of 8 objects to be found within this keep. And when each object is found, it will unlock a special spell for sale in the shop. But why are the boxes not vertically aligned? Why do you hate lining things up, Adam? I know Adam Bond probably didn't personally design this, but I know he's going to watch this video at some point, so it's funnier just to aim every criticism directly at him. Oh hey, sometimes in combat you'll have status effects shown on your character, shown by this list of icons and explanations for each below. And sometimes the enemy has status effects too, but they don't get the icons because that would look too similar.
How long does it go?
So they just don't. Search for the magic items. This mini quest resets if you log out, so find all 8 to fully access the shop, and sometimes you'll fail a search roll but can click Defy to use some special points to just succeed. Sometimes, but not always. Seems to be random when you can. And now an interesting...
It's not random, it's more like a new thing. It's a newer thing. Like, if your request wasn't reimagined or like it wasn't released recently, it won't have that defy.
Enemy. This water witch rises and sinks into this well, but the animation isn't just visual, because you'll see her block chance changes constantly as she moves. So this enemy needs you to actually time your attacks. But some attacks have travel time. So is this calculated based on the defense number when I click attack, or when the attack animation makes contact with the enemy? I asked in Discord, and it seems the calculation is done when the animation actually makes contacts and the enemy damage number.
Why would you... They won't just stop there. Like, look at the fucking animation. Does it stop when you hit attack? No. This is a question you had to ask Discord? You fucking out of your mind, bro? Yeah, no, I'm gonna play a little bit of this. I can't believe he actually needed to ask Discord for that. I mean, it looks pretty obvious to, I mean, I know that's how it works, but like, you didn't see the water witch not stop moving and like, Christ. All the things to want to get backseated on, that is the farthest thing from my mind. Like, how dumb do you have to be to need to ask about that? Honestly. Like, you literally just see the water witch still moving. Should be pretty obvious. Like, do you still see the numbers going up and down? Yes. I need to cool down. I need to cool down by playing more of this quest, because I cannot believe I just watched that part of the video. Oh wait, it does more damage. Yeah, let me just destroy this Moglin Phantom real quick. Damn it, I didn't destroy it. Ow. Oh, hey, I made it. You even defeated all my terrifying minions. Oh, there's a Void Challenge version. Oh, and he is level 150. I don't think I'm ready for this, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Am I ready? I don't know if I'm ready. The music changed. Click the swap to darkness. And also try hitting him with this. One spell. He's almost dead already. All right, let's try that again. Oh no. Did I miss? I rolled a little bit too low. That was it. All right, we beat it. You know, I never thought I'd get this far. Oh, they actually reduced the... Wait, I don't already have this, do I? I don't think I have this yet. I do have enough tokens, obviously, for the entire set. I mean, it'd be fucking pathetic if I didn't. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell is this? They fucked up the the character for that. Also, does it tell you whether it's does it tell you whether or not it's like, no, it doesn't give you the lean. Oh well.
Appears. Travel to Yangaland to loot the mysterious Water Lord essence from a magical well, meet some desert-dwelling nomad, fight Jagos, who is level 77, and die because old quest level ranges were wild. Let's explore the map. Frostvale, Christmas event for Moglins, fight some evil snowman and Dr. Seuss references, take down an angry toy box and discover you cannot buy higher level spells and store them for when you want to use them. You can only buy spells or items you are within the level range for. Go to the Dwarf Hold Mountain Caves and get told I need a crystal seed, so go to Valencia and ask her about it, get sent to a crystal cave and fight a Prismix. And I've mentioned before that I have a real soft spot for random geometric shapes as enemies. They're unknowable and odd, and I like them, like the crystalline entity from Star Trek. This fight gives me a choice of up or down. Now, you have no map, so just remember the correct order. Wrong choices lead to dead ends and more fights and can be very time-consuming. Fight a crystal golem boss and learn that a crystal seed is the last remnant of their people, and if we take it, we must plant it and grow a crystal tree so their civilization will thrive. Plant it back at the cave and get asked if we want to continue this quest in Dragon Fable. Clicking yes launches a browser window which asks you to download the Artix launcher to play the game, despite the fact I'm playing on the Artix launcher. Oh, these old random quest lines. They do not see a lot of developer attention, do they? How about taking the map to the Sky Bridge, a gauntlet of battles across a bridge to an ancient temple, starting with an undead gnat at 70% block chance, or this old thing, and then a dex...
He just called that a block chance, like, as in percentage. It's not percentage. Like, you saw a couple of monsters here, or even Terror, Master Terror himself, that was that had like what 115 like defenses on both melee and magic. Yeah, they're not chances, bro. They're not literal percentages. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to overcome them.
Dexterity roll, and if you fail, just restart the whole bridge. How about the Lair of Metal Face, described as a dungeon, which just means a lot of fights in a row, which turns out to be mostly dragons, and I can't win. But then we travel to Doom Quake Cavern, and I'm asked if I want to do traditional battles or something different, and that different part is a first-person shooter section. I mean, the clue was probably in the name, Doom Quake Cavern. This shooter bit has a spear graphic float after your cursor, and you just click on the enemy sprite when it appears and moves towards you, and I'll be honest, even for 2002, this gameplay was dated. The reward shop for this quest is also just bad. The truth is, there's a lot of places that you can visit in Adventure Quest, but they're all random, they're all disjointed. By now I'm thinking, you know what, if the only narrative restriction is my own discipline to actually play through a quest in order, then let's do that, because I don't think many people have. I don't think many people who played this as a kid even realized the game had a plot. The Devourer Saga, the longest, most in-depth questline in the game. 73 quests, 7 connecting sagas, 1 epic story. Let's finish it. So refill your cup of teas and get comfy, because we're about to play Adventure Quest for the plot. You can
really gonna frame it like that, bro?
start the Devourer Saga from this map down here in the corner, or the big button just inside Yulgar's Inn. So this is clearly a focused plot line. New players are encouraged to click on this. There's even an intro animation. Now each bit is really short, so I'll put a label up top so you know where I am and can double check if you like. And remember the consistent, the inconsistent design? We've got Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, and in fact in Part 5 some of these quests are in the wrong order. So please, if you do want to try and play through this yourself in order, use the order that the wiki tells you to play in, not the order the game gives you them in. Now, fair warning, Adventure Quest had a period of time where it had multiple writers working on multiple quests at the same time, which all ran concurrently and were all world-ending plots in their own way, which does mean the game is full of paradoxes, the main character being in multiple places at the same time, NPCs which you've met before being introduced as new or killed off then resurrected, or sometimes one quest needing context from another, unrelated quest. Currently, no one has a complete linear timeline of Adventure Quest quests because the timeline is so convoluted and complex one simply cannot exist. So I'll do my best to cover any anomalies in the Devourer Saga. Here we go. We start in Yulgar's Inn talking to Sage Uldor. They've had a vision about us, but before they can expand, they're attacked by some creepy ribbed skeleton snake thing. You can actually choose modern or classic graphics for this fight. We'll start traditional and then switch to modern as we go. We kill several zombie snakes, then rescue Uldor. He's worried that even as a sage, he could not sense them, meaning they are something we are unprepared to fight, but he has a plan. He sends us to Eastern Darkovia with instructions to ask what is the source of the red fog. Over there we meet Queen Sephiria, ask about the red fog, and as we do, some red fog rolls in and damages us. It seems just saying its name creates it, because certain parts of the world are magical like that and words have power. So we leave to tell Uldor that's what the red fog does, but we're ambushed by some werewolves on the way. However, we say red fog and scare them off, which is a nice touch. Back at the inn, Uldor has been injured. Seriously, we've been gone for like 2 minutes. Rabina Hood explains that Uldor had a vision which compelled him to head north to Augurthorn. But there he was bitten by a sneak, and we need some antidote, so we hunt down 3 sneaks for 3 poison sacks to make an antidote. Notable fight when this cute deer just rips itself apart and becomes an awesome zombie stag thing. With 3 poison sacks in hand, we're sent to herbalist Lucretia in Granamore, a rundown haunted place. We give her the poison sacks and wait outside while she makes a potion for Uldor. While outside, we bump into Vampire Hunter E, a reference to Vampire Hunter D. They've been followed by a pack of vampires, so we help them fight them off. But just before we're both killed by a massive angry zombie, a huge version of the skeleton snake from earlier kills the zombie for us, saving our life. Lucretia gives us the finished potion and we return to Uldor. He uses a crystal ball to show us the vision he had, which was of us. He saw an orc warlord stealing a death roller, a powerful war weapon from some local Drakel, so we actually fight through this vision despite this never having happened to us. It was what Uldor imagined would happen, and Vampire Hunter E is still here for some reason. When this vision ends, Uldor tells us we must find the death roller weapon and destroy it, and it was last seen south south of Dragonstone, which is where Galanoth the Dragonslayer is. It's likely the orcs are teaming up with the dragons to use the Drakel War Roller together. So we pop on over and talk to Galanoth, which is quite a funny conversation. If this game ever was voiced, the humour would show through far more. I love the fact that when you tell Galanoth the dragons will be involved, he simply says, "I know everything I need to know, lead the way." Artix Games knew that gameplay was never the focus, so they really focused on the story. Galanoth now replaces Vampire Hunter E as our companion, and his blade glows when fighting dragons, which is a really cool touch. And I love how this orc mage is unable to cast magic, so just throws the spellbook at you really hard. Quick note about both companions and temporary items that you can equip from the miscellaneous item menu. They will use SP or special points every single turn, and if you do not have enough SP at the start of a turn, companions will just leave, and items will become unequipped. Find the Orc General who stole the Death Roller, who then gets crushed by the Death Roller itself, and then we fight the Death Roller with new and improved graphics, and honestly the modern version looks really cool. Nice touch here too, it's weak to energy attacks, but the description warns you it will store energy-based attacks and then retaliate with a powerful counter-attack if you use it. That's nice tactical design. Destroy the Death Roller, return to Uldor, but Uldor's not here anymore. Instead, we meet Helenro. He tells us Uldor and the Water Elf Aquella have both gone to Mount Igobald, but Uldor wants us to go to Fangmoor and meet Artix the Paladin to get more information on the weird snake skeleton things. As a paladin and sworn enemy of the undead, Artix has been studying the snake things which attacked Uldor. He calls them ribbers and says they are not controlled by a necromancer, but they are poisonous, and when they attacked Uldor, they poisoned him. But then we were searching for a cure, they attacked the zombie and saved us. So maybe they're not totally evil, which is wrong. Uldor was not poisoned by a ribber bite, he was poisoned by a sneak bite, which is why we tried to find the sneak sacks. Pay attention to your own lore, please, game. It's only been 3 quests. Oh god, I'm going to turn into the actually guy, but for Adventure Quest lore, aren't I? Anyway, a ribber eating a zombie is unusual because undead things don't usually attack other undead things, so we fight a few before finally meeting a talking ribber. And the ribber explains they come from a land to the west and are seeking a powerful magic user called the Shadow Master so they can kill him. They thought Sage Uldor was the Shadow Master, but when they realized they were wrong and we were trying to cure Uldor, they helped us because the ribbers are focusing on the greater good, whatever that may be. I buy a ribber pet from the shop and chat to Artix. He does not know why Uldor and Aquella have gone to the mountain, but sends us to Warlick because maybe he will know. Warlick explains that the ethereal realm connection on the mountain is strong, so they are likely trying to communicate with something, and then using a viewing orb we can see them on the mountain but see they're about to be attacked by trolls, so we rush over to help them. Kill Flurg the boss troll, and he says, yes, the old man and water elf were here, but we've sold them to an armored man, and they were heading to the shipping town of Crovesport. So with the two now kidnapped, we head to Crovesport. This is a town of bandits and thieves, and asking around gets us attacked multiple times, but eventually we find a tank knight. Take them down in combat, but it's actually a girl called Dundella, and this is Sage Uldor's daughter, and the trolls are under her command. Seems the trolls weren't attacking Uldor and Aquella, but protecting them as they use the ethereal properties of the mountain to magically search for this Shadow Master the undead ribbers spoke of. Uldor says the Shadow Master, if they are real, may be a powerful magician, and if he couldn't foresee the ribber attack in the inn, maybe he can't foresee the Shadow Master either. And to this end, he needs an orb of light from the desert, which should keep the Shadow Master from spying on him while he continues to look for him. I mean, just let the Shadow Master find you. That could solve a problem. He's the guy we're literally looking for. Anyway, we get sent to the desert to go and kill a creature called Jagos, who has the orb, and the desert is a goddamn struggle because not only do you lose health between every fight, many of the enemies have an 80% dodge rate. Combining this with not healing between fights...
Okay, I don't know how much longer I can go on this video when he keeps calling it an 80% dodge rate when it is not literally percent based. Like, you have bonus to hit in this game, right? Like, you look at Dragon Fable, and you can see that my bonus is like 80 or something. You can't see it here, but it's definitely... It definitely makes your odds much higher than, you know, like 20% to hit them. And also, you have a battle log. I suggest you use it.
and I just don't have the health or mana to survive here. So you know what? It's grinding time, and then we will return to this plot because I'm actually quite invested by now. Personally, I prefer it when a game's main questline is paced well enough to level the player along with it, but this is older RPG logic. Grinding will be needed. I grind some levels and push through the mage quest to get some better skills and passive buffs, plus I'll need the wizard class, and that's locked behind level 10 mage. I like this enemy design called Xyno, or XY No, because it's 2D and has an X-axis and a Y-axis but no Z-axis. And this oyster boss becomes a shop, and we buy a pearl sword from it. Oh hey, remember the consistently inconsistent design and how the water witch had changing defensive stats as she moved up and down, but this was only shown on the stat panel? Well, this shield creature has that too, but it actually shows the stat changes in the battle screen above its model. The Emerald Slime enemy picture profile is so far off center it looks like it's trying to escape the overlay, and then I try another suggested leveling quest. Warlick, Mastercrafted, Geocastellum set, intro quest. And now we're off with Warlick's nephew Barry Jotter into the mines to kill sizzlers, which are definitely not creepers from Minecraft. They just look exactly the same, and creep towards you, and then blow up. Now strangely, up to level 35, these sizzlers give 4,000 experience each, which is massive. It's enough for more than one level per kill, but even if you overflow your required experience, while that experience isn't lost, you can still only gain one level per battle, because the game doesn't know how to handle you gaining multiple levels at once. So gain a level, battle a game with an already full experience bar, gain another level. Grind these sizzlers until they stop giving good experience, dropping from 4,000 to 90, and now the guide tells me I need a house. Player-owned houses in Adventure Quest are pretty basic, but they have a cool feature. You can hire a house guard, and then if you know a friend's exact house number, you can visit and fight their guard. Winning usually gives massive experience and gold, and it doesn't delete the guard, so you can just keep doing it. Only problem is, houses are for guardians only. You know what? Okay. Adventure Quest gave me hours of fun as a kid, and I never had the money to get Guardian, so let's achieve that childhood dream. Let's get the awesome Guardian arm, let's get the flowing red cape and cool looking sword. I agree with using one-time payments to support a company, so yeah, I've had at least $20 worth of fun. This seems doable. Guardian acquired, go and buy a house. Then after I've bought it, how do I access it? The house button just keeps sending me to the estate agent. Turns out after buying a house, you need to log out then back in for it to become active. And then when you visit, you need to clear 11 trees from the site through 11 battles before you can actually use the house. But hey, when I upgraded, I got a spell. Gatekeeper's Seal, and oh god, this is going to make things a lot faster. Look, I'm not saying Adventure Quest is pay to win, but I paid and got this incredibly powerful spell, so maybe it is. Clear some trees, defeat a dragon, have a house. Well, a tent. Now the guide tells me I need a few things to make this grinding process efficient. The first is a Lore Master's Tome, which is a free weapon given from the map location Falarin's Tomb. This is a bittersweet weapon, as this monument is in memory to the Lore Master Falarin, one of the original writers of the early Adventure Quest saga, responsible for some of the longer quest lines. We'll actually meet his NPC in this quest line. He wrote over 15 years worth of the story, but sadly passed away in 2019. The weapon itself gives 4 attack options: the good, the bad, the ugly, and gain mana. The good choice summons Falarin himself to blast your enemy with light damage, and this will be essential. The bad summons a giant moon-looking thing to smack your enemy multiple times, but the super important thing about this attack is it does not have any element associated with it. It is just known as harm damage, and every single enemy in the game has 100%, that's neutral, resistance to harm.
That's not true. Or at least it wasn't true when I was playing the game. I'm pretty sure some monsters have a resistance to harm. Like, it's one of the invisible ones that you can't see here. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not always harm. Or it's not always 100%.
No matter how tough something is, this will be able to hurt it. The next time...
No.
Item is a wizard armor. The Lumenomancer's robes enhance his light attacks, and this means maxing the mage and starting the wizard questline. And while I'm not a designer, I do notice two questionable things about this class line. The first is the large gap between the letter W and the rest of the word Izzard on Warlick's buttons, and then the questline starts with bright yellow text with a black drop shadow on a bright pink background. Please never present text like this again. Anyway, buy the Lumenomancer's robes, equip everything, go to your house, visit a very specific neighbor, and kill the sheep. It is weak to light and gives massive experience, and when you hit 40, we set up another process. At 40, we'll be moving on to killing a dragon. It's weak to fire, so we need a Pyromancer build. This needs a new spell, a new armor, and a very specific item. Grind up my wizard quest to unlock some passive buffs, which I'll need to make fire spells cheaper. Encounter this extremely rare stat roller enemy, a physical embodiment of your stat panel, which uses your own stats against you, and then fight a worm. And in 30 minutes, I'm a level 4 wizard. For the new spell, we'll be heading to Dragonspine, jumping straight to the 23rd quest, and fighting through, then killing the very tough boss to open a shop and buy Destruction Burst. Then we'll be heading to the Guardian Tower, the Arena of Enthusiasts, and surviving 5 fights to open another shop and grab the Goggernaut Helm, which heavily increases our accuracy at the cost of also increasing the enemies. The helm unfortunately doesn't quite fit the fantasy vibe that I'm going for, and I do feel like a character from Halo. With this setup, robes, nuke, fire spell, and accuracy increase, we can take down the Were-Dragon, lather, rinse, repeat, and now we are grinding this until level 55, which should not take long, but something strange happens at level 48. I just stop gaining experience from anything. So I do some research, and it turns out Adventure Quest has a daily experience limit.
You didn't
and
notice?
A gold limit. Once you hit them, you cannot gain any more experience or gold until the next day. So my 2 or 3 day planned grinds to max will take longer. Much longer. About a month. I won't lie, this really annoyed me. I'm an adult. I just paid for the Guardian upgrade. If I want to sit and grind an RPG, let me. It didn't mention this anywhere while I was paying for Guardian. The Arctic's site even explains this cap is to discourage cheating, so I asked around and this is what I've discovered. The daily gold cap was added because people were grinding or botting for absurd amounts of gold within relatively short times. Okay, I can actually understand a gold cap, but an experience cap? Preventing daily progress in a game about grinding seems odd to me. In fact, it almost seems backward because the stat upgrade system, charging per final number not stat, and the modern content being mostly at endgame, you'd assume they want players to push through the early game to get to the end game quicker, to level up in one go. But then you have an experience cap preventing exactly that. Some other players in the Discord explained it was because during war events, player contribution matters and no caps would let players make a ton of accounts and just bot the events very easily, which again makes no sense because these are endgame players making endgame contributions, not new players wanting to grind. And if that was the case...
He's still condoning botting for some reason. Don't do that.
Just put a cap on the daily influence you can add to a war event, not general experience. But okay, with the daily limit, what is the limit? How much can I gain? Well, the max level in Adventure Quest is 150. I made it to 48 in a day and hit the cap. The support page says, low-level characters can level up several times in a day. Higher-level characters, twice a day. The final Devourer quest, according to the wiki, needs level 69, which is not nice because how many days will this take to hit? Well, I ask around, and while no one seems to have an exact number, the general consensus is if you hit the daily experience cap every day, you can reach level 70 in about 5 days and level 150 in just over a month. But with me following this power training guide, how long will it take to hit the daily cap? Well, dear viewer, if you are a higher level power grinding, you can hit the daily cap in 6 minutes. So, I'm not a high enough level to finish the Devourer saga, no point starting that again yet, and I won't get experience from playing since I'm grinding high experience stuff, so what to do? Well, thankfully you can still do class quests and make progress through skill trees, as that doesn't count as experience, so I go to Black Hawk in the inn and complete the fighter quest line. Oh, hey, it's Zillow, I know you. I know you from the war potion trick I did earlier, but I had no emotional attachment to you. Maybe this is where your story starts. The fighter class maxes out at level 5, despite Black Hawk's dialogue saying it goes to 10. This typo actually cost me quite some time because I kept grinding, thinking it was a random chance to level up. As a max fighter, I can train as a knight, one of the more revamped quest lines, and actually one of the most useful armors I found in the entire game because it has a random chance of scaring your opponent out of their attack. This, however, is the only class line that requires you to wear the class armor while doing it, removing my mage skills and all the mage passive buffs I was relying on to grind, and I've put no points into strength, so this will not be easy. The knight storyline is just 4 different types of knights, all slightly annoyed at each other, and then at the end you can join a faction. I'm also not quite high enough level to survive this. I would grind, but, you know, I can't. Head over to Crove's Port to fill some time and train as a rogue under the guidance of Valencia. She tells me rogues need dexterity, except that's wrong because dex now governs range weapons, not melee weapons, so rogues, like all melee classes, need strength. So if you're a new player and went all in for a dex build, I'm sorry, but you have an archer. Open Valencia's shop to buy some rogue stuff, and it's the wrong profile picture. That is not Valencia, that is Yulgar. The rogue class questline is just repeated fights looking for assassins, and after a few you can roll to see if you find them, except this roll, if failed, cannot be defied, and the roll itself uses dexterity, which is annoying because you want to put points into strength for the rogue, but you need to put them into dex to make the roll easier. Takes me about 30 minutes to become a level 10 rogue, then move on to the scholar class, the one everyone forgets. This means traveling south to Darren City, finding this moglin, and just hunting and killing a load of random things. Now, I like the idea behind the scholar class. You kill exotic creatures, learn their combat styles, then use their attacks against them. It's like a Swiss Army knife of skills, but unfortunately, nothing matches the damage output of the wizard. I don't know why, but this vampire 2-frame death just speaks to me. The way I just get it. Like, I identify with that. Look, I watch this animation and I'm like, yes, me too, dude. Me too. Level 10 Scholar takes 23 minutes. Go to sleep, come back for a new day. Dragon grinding, hit level 55 in 10 minutes, and now we have the final setup journey, because this will be the grinding kit we use until level 150. We need a Geomancer's robe and the Sizzler's explosion spell. At level 70, we'll also need a shield, but we'll worry about that later. For now, the robe is easy. The wizard shop sells it. The spell is also pretty easy. Just go through the Minecraft style cave from earlier, reach the end, buy the spell. With this, we go to our house, visit a different neighbor, and take on this incredibly tough Shadow Rock, which gives an insane amount of experience. The only problem is it's got 100% block chance against every style. You cannot hit this. But the Sizzler's explosion spell always hits, and it's Earth, which our robes buff, and the rock is weak.
I want to report this video for misinformation. It's a very minor misinformation, but he has to know. This is not a % chance. It is not a % chance. It's just a stat. You have a random roll. The only reason you can't hit it is because your equipment fucking sucks.
To Earth. Now, it takes me a while to get one lucky kill, but that's enough because one kill floods you with experience. I hit the XP limit and have gone from 48 to 57, 9 levels, and it's going to get a lot slower. But you know what? While waiting for the experience point reset, there is something I can do. Something 12-year-old me always wanted and never had. The Blade of Ore. This is probably the most iconic Adventure Quest weapon. It's been used in Adventure Quest Worlds, Adventure Quest 3D, and for anyone playing casually, it's one of the chase rares. But how do you get it? Well, the Blade of Ore is split into 5 parts, each part found in a rare treasure chest, and a rare treasure chest has a small chance of appearing anytime you kill a monster in the mountains. Now, when I say small, I mean very, very, very small. Official numbers haven't been released, but the community data predicts it's between 0.3 to about 1%. And annoyingly, this chest spawn gets rarer the higher level you are. Now, if you're a free player, you can actually find all the pieces of the Blade of Ore, but you can't craft it unless you're a Guardian. Now, thankfully, these pieces do stay linked to your account after you log out. They don't show in your inventory, but you can talk to Valencia to check which bits you've got. But if you are a Guardian, there is another way to grind for this sword. Use the map and travel to the crossroads. You'll see several places named on a signpost. These are buttons, so we can add yet another button design, but click on Somewhere. This will send you to a random environment for a random battle. The environment will actually be one of the places that the other signpost could have sent you to. You'll have to fight through a gauntlet of battles with a full heal every 2 battles. The higher level you are, the more battles you fight. For me, it's 13. At the end of the 13 fights, you'll find a potion treasure chest, but there is a 10% chance this will actually be a rare chest instead, giving you a piece of the blade. Yes, it is incredibly grindy, but it's better odds than random mountain battles. But it gets even better. Every time you finish a somewhere battle gauntlet, you get a little star added to whichever environment you just fought through. These stars can level up to 9 times for each environment, and they are permanent. Their purpose is to increase the chance of a rare chest every time you get sent back there. The formula is on screen now, but essentially at 9th level, you'll have a 33% chance of finding a piece of the Blade of Ore from a finished somewhere gauntlet. I like this system. It encourages grinding, but rewards failure with a slight bonus for the next attempt, and ultimately, it takes me about 3.5 hours of constant somewhere grinding to find all 5 pieces. And with the 5 blade pieces in hand, I talk to Valencia and complete the Blade of Ore. This weapon is widely wanted for its very rare special attack, Power Word Die, which randomly just summons death and kills the enemy in 1 hit. It's quite useful. Day 3, grind from...
It doesn't always do that, by the way. A lot of bosses just resist it. So instead of one-shotting the monster, it just kind of does what the Guardian Dragon does, which is scaled HP damage. I'm not sure if it still does that, but I'm fairly confident it still does. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to misinform anyone more than this guy already has with his fucking dumbass block 100% block chance when it says 100%, and that's not how it works at all. Weapons. It's Earth by default, right? Blade of Awe. Guardian Dragon. What does it do? Player average damage. Oh, it's that stupid formula. Okay, all right. That's the formula. This. It's not scaled to the. It's sort of scaled to the monsters. Okay, no, I was still right. It still scales to the HP, but it's like it's weird.
From 57 to 64, and Day 4 complete the Dragon Slayer questline, learn where the full heals every 2 battles come from. Apparently these ninja clerics cartwheel in, shout heal ya, and then roll out, and that is the most Artix thing I've seen Adventure Quest do. And finish the day by grinding from 64 to 70, and now at level 70, we can finally return to the Devourer saga. So let's do this. Remember, Sage Uldor, the Ribbers, Shadow Master, had to go to the desert to find Jagos to kill for an Orb of Light to protect Uldor while he scribes the Shadow Master, you know, all that stuff. So back to the desert we go. Fight through the desert and meet some Cyclopses. They say we are trespassing, so we fight, and when we win, they explain Jagos isn't around, but they do have some Orbs of Light they can sell us. With the Orb acquired, you don't actually need to fight Jagos, but if you do want to, you have to travel to the Yangaland map, help the desert nomads fight Jagos here, then discover the Well of the Water Lord, defeat an energy dragon, and then meet Nalu, the water elemental, who explains the evil we are chasing has destroyed many planets before Law, and may be the greatest threat this world has ever faced. With the light orb in hand, we go to Mount Igobald, where Uldor and Aquila were, but on our way through the forest we meet the fire sorceress Mercuria and the knight Tathlin. They are hunting the legend Fenris Hole, a hollow tree stump housing the lair of a wolf, so we agree to help out. Now, I have to point out, before you spend 30 minutes completing this 15-floor dungeon with no breaks, this is an optional side quest which isn't actually important. Why this is in the main plotline, I do not know. Get to Mount Igobald and meet Shadow Dragon Nith, a messenger of the Shadow Master. Uldor shows up and demands to know what the Shadow Master wants. Turns out he wants something called the Eye of Narb, an artifact that's owned by Vampire Queen Sapphira. We asked why the Orb of Light isn't doing its job and keeping these creatures of darkness away, and it seems that the Shadow Master and his minions are not agents of the darkness element. They use darkness to hide their identity, but they are void creatures, beings of no elemental affiliation. Then Arctic shows up and hates the undead, so we fight Nith the Shadow Dragon and win, but if the Shadow Master is after the Eye of Narb, whatever that is, we should probably go and get that because it might be important. So back to Darkovia we go. Back here we meet Elizabeth, ninja woman. She's been sent to help us and has brought some ninja friends, but they've been bitten by zombies, so now we need to fight some undead ninjas to get to the castle. This leads to a triple ninja fight, which is way harder than it should be. I actually mentioned this on the Discord, and the Adventure Quest team did look into this and determined, yeah, that's way too hard, so they may have to retune this. Find the castle, cross the river, and sneak inside. Fight through so many vampires, I legitimately run out of supplies and die. So I ask for advice on the Discord, and I get told a few things. First of all, go and get the fairy godmother pet because she heals you and is super useful. Then go to Haven and buy liquid courage because it has dark defense, and god damn it, this is the Weeb Cat Village, the one place I wanted to avoid. Fine, I'll trade with the cat people. And you know what? Let's just spend a few hours absolutely grinding the Knight class to level 10, joining a Knight Kingdom, and then training Paladin, just because the Paladin armor is so bloody good against dark enemies, and the Paladin has this cool dog song which can heal you. Right, short 5-hour grind session aside, back to the Vampire Castle. Find Narb in the dungeon, explain we are not working for the Shadow Master. He explains he is not a prisoner, but actually pays the Vampire Queen to be able to live here because the Shadow Master is hunting him down. Narb has actually seen the Shadow Master, but then had his memory erased, and with this, he sells us the Eye of Narb, which is not his actual eye, but a shield which dispels illusions and should counter the darkness hiding tactic and allow us to reveal the Shadow Master's true identity. We give the shield to Uldor, and knowing the Shadow Master wants this, Uldor projects a psychic call through the shield, essentially tempting the Shadow Master to come and get it. This leads to a series of random elemental fights, but then a huge pit opens behind us, so we jump in. Inside, we're attacked by more Ribbers who claim we are the Shadow Master and must die, but Ribbers are dumb. We are not the Shadow Master. And while talking to Uldor, this super creepy demon spider shows up. This is Ifil, and they immediately admit they are the Shadow Master. They are thousands of years old, and they caused a great destruction which led to the extinction of the race the Ribbers once were, which led to them becoming skeleton snakes. But he did it for the greater good. Ifil then tells us about the Devourer, the ultimate force of destruction which travels through reality, roaming every universe and consuming any planet which houses living beings. Ifil says before the Devourer arrives, and they will arrive, they will send an agent of destruction to scout a potential world, and if we could maybe repel that agent, the Devourer might leave our world alone. Ifil explains that he was originally a human wizard, and many years ago the Devourer did attempt to attack this planet, but Ifil fought him off. For this, he was cursed into this form. He asks us that when the agent of destruction appears, the Devourer's scout, will we help fight it? And of course we agree. To this end, he gives us an item, the Gift of Ifil, which doesn't do anything yet, and tells us one final thing. There is a book in a secret place called the Isle de Orien, which we will need to read. Quick note, that Gift of Ifil does literally nothing for the entire plotline, and I'm pretty sure they forgot it exists. Now, the Isle de Orien is a city between our reality and the ethereal realm, and is accessed by a rip in the sky. It's mostly abandoned, but if you go to the library, you can find a book with a code, then click this candle, go into a hidden room, and meet the Eternal. He says this vault houses an ancient clock counting down to Doomsday, or the return of the Devourer. So we use the special code to open the vault. Or we don't, we just click on the handle because it's been changed to open with any code now, and we see a red laser firing into space at an angry red moon. The moon will be relevant, the laser will not. Outside we see a gauntleted hand then tear a rip in reality, and a red-headed woman step through. This is the Huntress, daughter of the Eternal. She has been traveling for over 1,000 years through space, hunting the Devourer down. The Eternal laments how his daughter is becoming obsessed, but the Huntress leaves to continue her quest, warning a war is coming. Back in Yulgar's inn, Yulgar is gone, replaced by his cousin's roommate's nephew Hans. The only person who saw Yulgar recently was the child moglin Twig, who is daydreaming. In fact, daydreaming so hard, we have to go into their dream and kill their distractions, and for some reason while doing this, we are a fish. With his focus restored, Twig tells us a red-headed woman ripped a tear in reality, portaled into the inn, kidnapped Yulgar, and escaped through the portal. The delivery of the narrative then switches away from plot you play through to plot you are told about after the fact. The Huntress has teleported herself and Yulgar to the basement of the Guardian Tower. It seems that Yulgar is a great-great-great-great-great-grandchild of a master blacksmith who made weapons capable of harming the Devourer. The location of those weapons, however, is a secret hidden within a book which only Yulgar has. Or maybe not has, but only Yulgar has the innate ability to magically find just by trying to look for it. So Yulgar just randomly points to a box that he feels a strange connection to, and oh hey, yeah, that's the book, congratulations. It's a diary entry written by Bord Smithdi, the blacksmith of Oaklaw, which is a town featured in Dragon Fable. The diary explains they found a glowing metal and have made it into weapons to defeat what they refer to as the World Eater, should it ever return. However, before we can read the location of them, a Guardian interrupts us, and the Huntress deals with him by knocking him unconscious, grabs the book, and teleports away, leaving Yulgar to take the blame for assaulting a Guardian. Yulgar gets locked up, but when the guard does come around and wake up again, he explains the situation, and Artix visits Yulgar and sets him free. Meanwhile, Rabina and Warlick are magically tracking the portal essence left by tearing portals open and chasing the Huntress across the land. We see her appear in a forest, but get attacked by the werewolf Nightbane. The attack knocks the portal-making gauntlet and book out of her hands, but both of them run off when Warlick and Rabina arrive, and we take both the book and the gauntlet. But then Ifil shows up and explains that the Huntress is actually an agent of the Devourer, and she is looking for the weapons so she can destroy them and secure the Devourer's safety. With this information, we give chase, completing 4 battles in 4 different biomes: deserts, forests, Darkovia, and the mountains, before finally confronting the Huntress, and she is a tough fight. We take her down, but then she explains, and I know that you won't believe this, the creepy-looking spider demon thing was actually lying to us. The Huntress does genuinely want to kill the Devourer, and Ifil is an agent of the Devourer. Apparently, Ifil pledged his allegiance many years ago in exchange for immortality. At least an immortal soul, not an immortal body. The Huntress, however, made one mistake in her search for the ancient weapons. She had the right bloodline, but the wrong person. Yulgar isn't the only blacksmith within his bloodline. He has a cousin called Ada who lives on the Isle d'Orient, the Sky City, and they know the location of the weapons. So everyone heads back to the Guardian Tower, and we have a conversation for some context. The Huntress explains that the Devourer has a name. They are referred to as Thagalin, or Thagalin. They arrived on our planet 1,000 years ago, and every race hid in a different way. Elves hid in the forest, dwarves hid in the mountains, humans ripped huge chunks from the land of lore and created magical floating ethereal cities like the Isle d'Orient. They tethered them to the land of lore, but then made them exist between realities so it would be harder for the Devourer, or Thagalin, to find them. The strongest race at the time was the Drakel, sort of draconic humans. They were advanced enough to build cities strong enough to withstand the Devourer's attack. And when the Devourer passed away, everything came out of hiding, but most things were gone. Unfortunately, the Huntress's entire family was destroyed. Her father, however, was cursed by the Devourer to live eternally and maintain the clock which would herald the Devourer's return, which has been slowly driving this guy mad. So the Huntress worked with some of the Drakel to create the Gauntlet, and now rips her way through reality, chasing the Devourer down, following its magical essence. She doesn't age because moving through reality stops the experience of time as we know it. She explains the Devourer is not just destruction, but pure anti-creation, the embodiment of unmaking. It won't just kill you, it will erase you from history. So everyone agrees we should head to the Isle d'Orient, speak to blacksmith Ada, and secure the ancient weapons to be able to defend lore. On the Isle, it seems Ada has no memory of ages 6 to 10, which weirdly were the exact years we need to know about. Anyway, his memory is returned when he sees the diary that Yulgar hands to him, titled The Book of Salvation, and as he remembers, the Eternal, the Huntress's dad, shows up and explains that actually he made the weapons. He was so angry at being cursed to watch a clock counting down to the return of everything he hates, he worked with blacksmiths and magicians to hunt down a rare metal called Viridium, which seems to hurt the Devourer's minions. He made enough weapons to equip an army and hid them in the crater which was created when the Isle was raised from the land into the air. The Eternal says the weapons used to be in the mountains, but he got Ada to help him move them several years ago and then wiped Ada's memory to keep it a secret. So the Isle, which is still tethered to the ground below, is lowered down and we descend into the caverns to look for the weapons, but Ephiel has followed us. So we have to fight through an army of Ephiel's minions, and when we do find the weapons, we're attacked by Malzar, an agent of the Devourer, a machine-enhanced war creature. And with Malzar killed, everyone attacks Ephiel together, but just before we land the final blow, he runs away, because his soul is immortal but his body is not. Thankfully, Warlick has teleported the Viridian weapons to safety, so now we are armed. Now it's time to start the Temple of Hope quest chain, which will tie in heavily soon. This starts with Dragonslayer Galanoth saying a knight of Larithia, a man called Thorn Lorin, has requested we go to help the orcs of Greengard Forest. Now, orcs requesting human help is strange, so we head off. But on the way, we meet Falarin, the Lawmaster. He says we are late, the orc has already left with an elf named Kendril, but while we're here, we should meet Galric, this emo-looking kid. Falarin explains he is from a different reality, but he knows the Devourer originally came from our current reality, and if we don't stop it, everything in existence in all realities is in danger. So we are to travel through the forest with Galric until we find a portal which will send us to Derren, specifically to the Temple of Hope, and there our quest will continue. Now this is just several fights in a row, but a quirk of this game's old programming. You can encounter any monster in any quest, including this troll, which is a challenge boss monster and one hit kills me. Great balancing adventure quest, just great job. Make it through the forest and find a portal. You now need to activate the 10 runes around the portal in the right order, and the tactic here is randomly click on all of them until you get it right. And for every 10 wrong tries of a complete code input, you will get 1 runic hint. This is terrible design. The portal takes us to the Temple of Hope, and we meet Tralin, a Drakel and King of Derren. He explains the Temple of Hope is dedicated to Larithia, the great creator goddess and mother of all. Tralin explains the one we seek, Thagalin, the Devourer, the Uncreator, and many other ominous names, is way too powerful to take on right now, and we will need to collect the 8 elemental orbs and unite the 8 elemental avatars as allies, and after doing that, then find the secret 9th avatar, the Avatar of Hope Incarnate. Tralin reveals that he himself is the Avatar of Life, so we've found at least one of them. And so the orb collection bit begins. The ice orb is easy. It's in the Guardian Tower basement, just go and grab it, and Warlick creates a magical copy so no one will think this is missing. Done. The fire orb has been split into 4 fragments, and they're on a battlefield, so push through 16 different fights to find 4 pieces and put them back together. The darkness orb is in Darkovia. We are met by Artix, Vampire Hunter E, the Wolf King and Queen of the Vampires, and they put aside their differences to stand united against the Devourer, so we fight through 11 battles and then kill a Necromancer to take his orb. The light orb is held in the Dwarven Mountains, but it's a huge mountain range. Thankfully, we meet Lucius the Pegasus, leader of the Lucian clan of Paxia and representative of the Realm of Light. He knows the light orb is protected by the demigoddess Mai, so flies us over, and for the greater good, we kill her and take it. Yay for being the good guys. The water orb is surprisingly underwater. Aquella wishes us luck and we kill our way through a ton of fish. Strangely, you actually get the orb and then you fight the boss. But in a very Artix touch, this boss, the Water Fiend, can disable your spellcasting. So I try and be clever and use my Lawmaster's Tome, which is kind of like a spell on a weapon, and it says, the tome realizes your spells are disabled, so it throws plot holes at the enemy instead, which I appreciate. Also, when your spells are blocked by this boss, if you open your inventory and read the description of the ability, it says, have you ever put your ear to a seashell, but instead of the sounds of the sea, you hear whispers of a future in which everyone you love has had their lives drowned and extinguished like an insignificant dinghy before the powers of the ocean's mighty waves? Yeah, me too. Next up, the Energy Orb. Rabina joins us hunting down Krenos the Energy Dragon, who swallows the orb in defiance, so we beat him up and he vomits it back up, so we take it. The Wind Orb is in the desert. Now you can either fight your way across or play a Flappy Bird-style airship minigame, grabbing fuel in the form of dynamite as you go. And honestly, after 10 minutes of trying, this has to be one of the hardest Flappy Bird clones I've ever played. It's easier to just fight your way through the desert. After grabbing this orb, I also noticed that the taking of the orbs is inconsistent. Some of them are highlighted when you reach them. Some have arrows, some have a ring around them, some don't. Classic Adventure Quest inconsistency. The Earth Orb is hidden in a cave which we're guided to by a squirrel, and thankfully there is a handy dandy map on the wiki, otherwise you can get lost here forever. Grab the Earth Orb and...
He insists on using the wiki. The forums exist. Why would you rely on the wiki?
And finally we are done. Now do not return to the Temple of Hope, because if you do, it will be in an advanced questline state that you shouldn't have access to yet, and you will throw this in...
Actually, wait, hold on. Let me... Let me find one random. Can I find a random page? Can I just like browse a random? No. Okay. Oh my God. Look at this. Why is it formatted like this? Thanks. You have the name of the weapons, but you don't link to... Why don't you link to it? You should link to it. Thank you.
Blech. Entire thing out of order. Instead, return to the inn and take the quest Stop Bugging Me from the Big Book. There you'll meet Lawmaster Falarin and his student Galric on a beach. It seems that loads of insects are fleeing from something, so we have to find out what. We fight it on the beach to meet the evil Moglin Cabros. He's creating an undead gnat swarm, and this is another totally optional quest, but the interesting part here is how Galric keeps mentioning stuff to you as if you already know it or have lived the events before. And I'm thinking, is this foreshadowing? Is Galric us from the future? But no, this is just terrible pacing. Back in town, there's a dark storm approaching, but this is not a storm. This is a powerful unreality creature called the Exodus, a being which serves the Devourer as the envoy of destruction. So this might be the scout attempt. The Exodus forms into the Soul Banisher, and thankfully we're able to repel it. But when we return to town, we see Ephiel, the demon spider thing, the Shadow Master, angry that we have defeated the Exodus, and they are blaming a new NPC for the failure. They're blaming this guy, who is genuinely called Agent Smith. And yes, this is a Matrix reference. It seems that Ephiel, Agent Smith, and Nightbane the Wolf are all part of the Devourer's network of loyalists, collectively referred to as the Network. After this fight, a strange object from the sky crashes over at Mount Thrall, so we go to check it out. It seems the object is a spaceship from the future called the Hope. and its crew explain they are part of a group called the Order, a group dedicated to fighting the Devourer's network through time. So the Order are good and the network are bad. It seems they already know about us and our war against the Devourer because we are heroes in the future, but this event may change that because of the butterfly effect. Along with the Order's ships crashing, some future network agents have also landed on Lore, so now we have time travel. Which matters because the next quest starts, context-wise, 1,000 years in the future. We see the world of Lore, advanced but destroyed, and we're told many species have been hunted to extinction. The few remaining magical creatures are protected by the Nova Knights. This Nova Knight Randor is friends with Old Scar, the last dragon existing, but Scar dies because the planet's magical essence, which was keeping him alive, was used up during the time of the Warp Force in defense of the planet against the Engine of Destruction. Those words will make sense if you play lots of other quests. With Scar's death, his soul is absorbed and imbued into Randor's blade. With the last dragon dead, Randor is then invited into a time portal and thrown 1,000 years into the past, which is our present, and he meets Fane, a time fairy, who says the Lorien dragons cannot be allowed to go extinct, and Randor must meet us in the town of Battlon, because this is the exact date humanity becomes involved with the intergalactic Devourer network. This is where the future begins to be written, and this is where we can stop the poaching ring, which kills all the creatures in the future. So we meet Randor, and the only thing we know is there has been a sighting of a network agent in Darkovia, so we head on over and meet Vasilis, a poacher of creatures' souls, and the budding creator of an international poaching ring. But if we kill him now, he'll never make the ring, so we do that. But then, another lucky strike. The dragon Old Scar is still alive in this time. And with Randor's sword being infused with Scar's soul from the future, if we give that soul to Scar now, he'll have 2 souls and will live more. So we do that by fighting Scar. Randor then attempts to return to the future, but is almost immediately pulled back into our time. He thanks us for our help and makes us an honorary Nova Knight for saving so many future animals. Then, later, as we're walking through town, we are suddenly attacked by the Space Girls, 6 brightly coloured intergalactic defenders who are convinced we are the Devourer. This is quite a difficult series of fights, but then we explain we're not the Devourer. In fact, we recently defeated the Exodus, an agent of the Devourer, and the Space Girls are so impressed with how powerful we are, they ask if we can help them take down an evil intergalactic overlord. So we hop in their spaceship, warp jump to their space base in a different time, which has been blown up while they were fighting us and is now just debris, and that leads to a mini game of use your mouse to dodge the debris. Or, as I found it, just stay at the bottom of the screen and survive. Land on the Space Girls planet and discover it's been nuked by the evil overlord and everything living has been melted into a big homogeneous goo. Fight the goo, then just kind of leave. Back in Battlon, we are summoned back to the Temple of Hope. It seems the 8 elemental orbs will not be enough, for there is a 9th orb, the Orb of Creation, which many years ago was shattered into 5 pieces and we must now collect. And we meet Giliara. They are a Brilhado, a greater demon of the light realm, but they're on our side. And then Giliara's evil brother, Diviara, who stole a share of the Orb of Creation many years ago when it shattered, and it seems the evil Brilhado are part of the Devourer's network, while the good Brilhado are part of the Order. So now we trek around the island fighting our way to find 5 shards of the Orb of Creation. We find the first on a beach held by a Brilhado necromancer. The necromancer is talking to Diviara, and Diviara says, "My nephew is with them," referring to Giliara, but for some reason not willing to say that he's his brother, not his nephew. After finding the first shard, Diviara shows up and literally tells us where to find the next one, saying he'll be waiting for us. So is he evil or is he guiding us? Well, the next is held by a Dracolich on the castle rampart, so we do that, and it seems that Diviara is telling all of the evil people Giliara is his nephew, not his brother, because he has to hide the family connection. But not a complete family connection, just brotherly connection. The third shard is with a big spider, and Divyara keeps mentioning to his minions, whatever you do, don't kill Giliara, so the evil demon is protecting the good demon, it seems. We fight through a field, and finally the two Brilhardo brothers talk, Giliara trying to convince Divyara he still loves and cares for him, and would be forgiven if he returns to the good side, and Divyara says, love is a weakness and he's come too far to quit now, and we will battle next in Deep Lake. So as expected, the Deep Lake is full of enemies, and the boss here is a Bracken, but notice this bit. Divyara says to the Bracken, I must slay you first. And then we fight the Bracken, but we fight an undead version. Why would he turn it undead for us when he knows that we are powerful against undead? Either way, we kill it and get the fourth shard. The Brilhardo brothers finally talk and meet, and Giliara says he knows his brother can love, for he knows he loved his son. And Divyara says they framed him for murdering his wife, and now his son hates him, inviting us to the fortress for the final fight.
I can't react to anything.
A random no-name Brilhardo sneaks up on and kills Giliara, so our good Brilhardo is now dead. This angers Divyara so much he openly calls him his brother, which shocks the rest of the bad guys, and then realizing he's done that, he realizes that deep down he did love his brother, and then switches allegiances, betrays the Devourer, and joins us, giving us the final part of the creation orb. Back in Battle On, we are told the Darklands have been swarmed with the Devourer network, so we rush over to help, and the Huntress says she has spotted the enemy, the giant werewolf Nightbane, so we take him down, and Nightbane says, haha, this was just a test. Since Ifil's failed attack using the Exodus and the fact we have gathered all the orbs, the Devourer wants to see how strong our resistance was, and turns out they're not that impressed. Next up, we're told the Pirate Clan, led by Captain Rhubarb, tipped off by the fighter trainer Blackhawk, has been searching for a treasure just off the northern coast. However, the Ninja Clan, led by Elizabeth, were laying in wait to ambush them, and both sides are now fighting in a big civil war, and we should go and break that up. So we fight through one side or the other, only to discover the fighter trainer Blackhawk is being mind-controlled by the Devourer, and the organized civil war was designed to weaken both the pirate and ninja clans so they couldn't team up. So we fight Blackhawk, and the Devourer's mind control is removed, but we then wonder, how many more people are secretly working for the Devourer? Oh great, there's mind control now, fantastic. Back in town there is another storm, which means the Exodus is back, so we fight it again, but this time it's focused all of its energy into a massive Exodus Titan. Thankfully, Artix has somehow summoned a Dragon Lord from the past to fight the Titan, so we just watch this cutscene and we win. This part of the quest only exists as cross-promotion for Dragon Fable, because we're asked if we want to become a Dragon Lord. And even though Artix can apparently summon Dragon Lord from the past, he never does this again. With the power of mind control now a reality, the good guys get together to discuss the implications. However, Falarin explains this is not something the Devourer does, as it goes against its purpose, whatever purpose that may be. The Huntress agrees and says the use of mind control means the Devourer's network are now working on their own, against the will of the Devourer itself. The network seem to be attempting to manifest the uncreation power within another vessel. This is a sign that Omega is coming. Apparently the Omega process is forcing the Devourer's uncreation power into something else. Also, mind control is never used again. The Eternal refers to his daughter, the Huntress, by her actual name, Celestra, and then all the good guys gather together to discuss a rather complex phenomenon. The network cannot manifest the power of the Devourer, the Omega process, against its own will if the physical host they want to use is already in use by another soul. They need to find a vessel without a soul. During this time, Galric, the emo kid, constantly flirts with the Huntress, who isn't interested at all, and Divyara says he was able to discover that the Omega host, whatever or whoever it may be, might already be on Lore, and it might be fated to continue the legacy of Zilar, but he doesn't know what that is, so he goes to eavesdrop. We then see a conversation between a necromancer Brilhardo talking to an unknown character, and we learn that Amalara Salegra, Diavara's son, the one who hates him, has been found, and that Diavara, despite being a traitor to the network, has special orders to not be harmed. These orders come from someone called Ojo, real name Dr. Louis Zephyr. This conversation ends with the necromancer addressing the off-screen character as Lord Omega. To relax a little, we take a stroll through Greengard Forest, but bump into this strange man who looks exactly like Loremaster Falarin, but isn't. So we journey with him and then bump into the actual Loremaster, and it seems these two know each other. And the mysterious man is here to inform Falarin the Prison of Ages has been broken, but Falarin already knew that. It seems there's problems back in Falarin's reality, but that's not our concern right now, because strange creatures, possibly Devourer network agents, have been spotted over at Asma Lake. Also, don't worry about what the Prison of Ages is, it will never get brought up again. We head over to Asma Lake and join the Huntress, Aquella and Yolgar, dive in and find a cave within, and inside, void dragons, ancient and powerful. And after killing them, we meet a predecessor, a being from another planet loyal to the Devourer's network who has traveled to Lore just to hunt the dragons. They have a unique language that we cannot read, but the Huntress can, and they are evil, so we fight. After winning, outside we see a meeting between Nightbane and another predecessor. We learn they usually work alone, but then Agent Smith joins and says if the predecessor works under his command, he'll be able to cause far more destruction, and the predecessor agrees. And from this point forward, Agent Smith starts talking like a Hollywood agent and referring to everyone as baby. With the forces of the network growing, the mystical island of Paxia falls into civil war. The Devourer agents have caused the 8 elemental clans to turn on each other, and we must attempt to unify them. So we rush to Paxia and focus on killing only the Devourer network agents, and when we win, a red-suited man known only as the Servant of Thagalin, or Servant of the Devourer, is amazed that unity has triumphed. It seems that the Devourer seems to thrive on betrayal and disagreement and gets stronger when those things happen, but teamwork has pushed them back. Loremaster Falarin appears and congratulates the 8 clans for putting aside their differences and standing together. Diviara relays his espionage to emo kid Galric, confirming the presence of Omega somewhere on Lore, but then the red-suited Servant of Thagalin appears again. We learn his name is Ryusi Cartwright. He is a high-ranking member.
Ryusi... This guy's just trying to trigger me, right? Trigger people that know that that's not how you pronounce the name.
Of the network, and mentions personal history with both Galric and Diviara, and angers when he's called
Cartwright?
Twain. On a beach,
No,
Loremaster Falarin and the mysterious man then meet up again.
Jesus
we learn
Christ.
his name is
He would probably pronounce my name as Ryuhausen.
He has done us a favour by researching Ryusi Cartwright.
Exactly
it seems that
what a white
Cartwright
person
lived as a human for a while and was the adopted son of a man named Matthew Twain before he grew up and killed his adopted father. Cartwright is now an agent of the Devourer, and it is said that he has some documents hidden within the Brilhardo fortress detailing the Devourer's plans. So we are tasked with breaking into the fortress and swapping the real document for a fake one that we've made to disrupt the forces of evil and stop them attacking Lore. And to this end, we are disguised as a Brilhardo and sent in. Now this quest needs you to read the Adventure Quest forums and actually read up on the lore, because we need to answer several multiple choice questions to prove our loyalty to get in, and these 20 questions reveal some deep lore about this whole situation. So I have to add some context. Thagalin was a human, born on the Isle of Jelly 4,500 years ago. He was born to a very wealthy family, but instead of following the wealthy family business, turned the family estate into an orphanage and cared for the poor. He met a woman named Lauren and the two fell in love. He did not know at the time that Lauren was the goddess of creation Larithia in disguise as a human, and she admired Thagalin's selfless and caring nature. Unfortunately, the wealthy elite of the land despised Thagalin's altruism and coveted his wealth, so they brutally murdered several of the orphans under his care and then burned down the orphanage. The corruption and strife of this civilization began to spread to every society, and ultimately Thagalin was killed. Larithia, not wanting such a genuinely selfless man to die, used her powers as a goddess to resurrect Thagalin and granted him the power of godhood, making him an elemental lord of the Void. His purpose would be to wander through existence and reality, observing civilizations, and if he determined them to be corrupt beyond saving, uncreate them, allowing the planet to start again. However, if a civilization did show signs of unity, harmony, and a willingness to work for the greater good of all, that civilization must be spared and allowed to exist. When Thagalin, or the Devourer, first visited Lore, they were not repelled by an army, and they didn't spare the Drakel humans and elves because they hid. They spared them because the societies were united in their pursuit of survival and their support of each other. They were worthy of existence. Eventually, we reach the inner sanctum and read the Devourer's plans. The letter instructs the network to observe and do nothing. which means the Devourer is actually following its original purpose of judgment before uncreation. However, we hear Cartwright approaching, so we cast an invisibility spell on ourselves and then see what happens when Cartwright reads the letter, and he says it instructs the network to attack immediately. So Cartwright is trying to direct the Devourer's network in a way that he sees fit, and is not following the Devourer's actual goals, which is judgment and fair passing. Loremaster Falarin, Eldrond, the Huntress, and the emo kid Galric all chat on a beach about how Cartwright is now using the armies of the Devourer for his own end, and this entire chat is set up for a pun, but then Lord Omega, still an off-screen character, demands the Brilhardo attack Falarin and Diviara. It seems Diviara isn't protected by any special protection orders anymore. Emo kid Galric and the Huntress share a heartfelt conversation where Galric isn't sure if the Devourer, given what we now know, is actually evil, and the Huntress reminds him that while the Devourer may not be evil but simply a force of creation and uncreation, the network are now operating independently under the rulership of an evil person. The attack on the beach against Falarin is quickly ended because Falarin is an incredibly powerful wizard, it seems, who just refuses to get involved in most things, and the few surviving evil Brilhardo retreat to inform Lord Omega of their failure. Meanwhile, over in Darkovia, the locals are somewhat concerned with the appearance of a giant blood-red moon in the sky which seems to have eyes watching them, judging them, almost. Then back in Battlon, we see the wounded werewolf Wolfwing limp in, accompanied by Duloc the Moblin and Sonara, the daughter of the werewolf Nightbane. It seems that Nightbane has been corrupted not by the Devourer, but by Shadow Master Ithiel. Remember him? And they're all here to ask for our help. Duloc explains an ancient legend states the Harbinger of the Devourer will trick and deceive everyone into chaos and destroy unity, and that is what Ithiel has done. That was his job. So we agree to help and go and take down the corrupted Nightbane, who is pretty much impossible to kill. This is a scripted loss, but then Sonara shows up and begs Nightbane to remember the human part of him, the honourable part, and moved by his daughter's pleading, Nightbane is able to resist the power of Ithiel. Agent Smith is also there, but gets launched away by the now focused good Nightbane, and then Nightbane rips Ithiel's throat out and kills him. With this, Ithiel's soul is returned to the Devourer, potentially to be unmade. Agent Smith reports Ithiel's death to Cartwright, although this apparently is not a big concern, because Cartwright's focus is now capturing Amalara, Diviara's son. Of course, Diviara is eavesdropping on this whole conversation, but knows this is likely a plot to force him to attack into a blind rage, which would cause more chaos, which is what Cartwright wants. So instead, Loremaster Falarin asks Lord Darren, a friend and master strategist, to go and secure Amalara before Cartwright can reach him. Seems that Amalara's just hanging around in a forest chatting to some undead dudes because he sees them as friends. He has no prejudice either way against life or unlife and is a surprisingly chill guy. Darren turns up and informs Amalara that Cartwright knows of his presence and is sending a battalion of network troops to apprehend him right now, so unless he wants that, he should come with us. So we fight our way through the forest and Loremaster Falarin joins us at the end. One of Amalara's undead friends informs us that Agent Smith has been seen to the south commanding a group of Exodus soldiers, so we quickly move everyone to safety and run away. Back at the Guardian Tower, we receive word that the Temple of Hope is about to be attacked by network agents, so we rush over, but before we make the trip, Loremaster Falarin warns us that another network attack is in progress right now in Granamore, and unless we help, it is likely Granamore will be destroyed, and then the network will march on Battlon. The defense of Granamore is vital, so the temple will have to wait. We fight alongside the Huntress, Yolgar, and Artix, and even with everyone combined, Granamore, unfortunately, is lost and the network win this battle. Meanwhile, beneath the deep sands of the desert, more survivors of more spaceship crashes from earlier talk about the current situation and decide to remain united and attempt to push for the survival of all. But this conversation is being spied on by Lord Xylar and a Brilhardo guard. Lord Xylar is loyal to the Devourer. He was actually the Devourer's first communicant and does his will, but he's not loyal to Cartwright, and he now realizes that Cartwright has openly defied the Devourer's wishes and is attacking a civilization which has shown unity. So Xylar goes to confront Cartwright. As he does this, we see the werewolf Nightbane, so recently under Ithiel's control, attack Vampire Hunter E, but then Sonara, his daughter, intervenes, and more revelations. It seems that Vampire Hunter E is currently the host of the Avatar of Death. And if Nightbane kills him, he will gain the Avatar's power and be strong enough to stop the Devourer, or at least that's his theory. The only issue is Nightbane is Vampire Hunter E's father. Both Sonara and E beg their dad to stop this petty fight and stand with them, but then Nightbane runs off by himself to try and kill the Devourer on his own, and will most likely fail. With Granamore having fallen, the network assault continues north in Orgathorn. Legions of network soldiers charge against the united forces of orcs, elves, and humans, and after we've taken down way too many to count, we see Xylar confront Agent Smith, chastising his actions, saying he is going against the original will of the Devourer, and how, once Xylar exposes this corruption, many members of the network will realize they are being used and leave. At this point, Brihar, one of the network's advisors, lets Smith know that they may lose some soldiers, but they don't actually have any proof of the Devourer uncreating anything, so even going against the Devourer doesn't seem that risky. If anything, it's just a legend. Agent Smith and Cartwright bicker about losing control of the network, and Xylar confronts Cartwright, saying he has deviated so far from the original goal of the Devourer that he cannot continue to follow him, and will be ordering his people and everyone loyal to the original goal of the Devourer to leave. Xylar then leaves and communicates with Ojo, or Louis Zephyr, via a communication orb informing him of the situation, and the message ends telling him to stand clear. Back in Battleon, a great flash of light covers the sky. Falarin senses that this magic originated from Dragon Claw Isle, so we go and investigate. Over there we meet two powerful mages, Zyphos.
This video really went from like rambling about the UI to like getting some mechanics wrong, and then like he doesn't explain. I guess it wasn't his job to really like go into the specifics. Also, I don't really know. I don't know whether I actually want to grab this equipment or not. I'm still thinking about it. Fuck it. I'll beat it again eventually.
And Belquire, working together on a spell. They say it will be ready soon, and we should tell Falarin to expect them at the Temple of Hope in apt time. The network, under the insane leadership of Ryushi Cartwright, closes in. Cartwright is pushing to force the Omega event, the manifestation of the
places where he said, "Oh, it's 100% mischance," and see like whether anyone in this chat actually like corrected him, like, because it's definitely not a percent chance
against the Devourer's own will. He just needs a host. We hold the line in the forest outside town and fight waves of network loyalists, and during a brief moment of calm, Galric, the emo kid, asks the Huntress if, after all this is done, she'll consider staying on Lore, because he's finally found his confidence and tells her that he likes her and wants to spend time with her, and feeling safe, she agrees. More battles, and eventually we reach the Brilhado commander Orakarus, fabled soldier, so we take him down, and then Galric joins us and we confront Ryushi Cartwright together. Unfortunately, Cartwright overpowers us and kills Galric. With this, Cartwright offers us the chance to join him and serve the Devourer, serve Thagarlin, but we refuse, and instead join Diviara at the Cordem Gate, the path to the Temple of Hope. The network have attacked the temple, so we defend it, and eventually we fight Agent Smith himself. And if there was any doubt this was a Matrix reference, watch the dodge animation for Agent Smith, taken straight from the first film. Take down Agent Smith, but then Cartwright uses his manipulation magic known as the Cold on us and saps our will to fight. But then Diviara's son Amilara arrives, and now he knows the truth. His father was not responsible for the murder of his mother, it was Cartwright. It was all Cartwright, so Amilara fights Cartwright, injuring him. But just before he dies, Cartwright willingly sacrifices his body and his soul to make himself an empty vessel and uses his own body to manifest Omega. The Devourer spirit awakens and inhabits Cartwright's body. Then suddenly Nightbane the werewolf shows up and attempts to fulfill his promise to his daughter by killing the Devourer, which of course fails. We finally confront Thagarlin, the Devourer, the Uncreator, in the guise of Omega, and explain he is hurting the goddess he once loved, and his mission of judgment has been overpowered by the Omega Force, and he is now simply destroying for the sake of destroying. He must stop for the sake of fair, unified existence. But of course, Omega's in control, so he doesn't stop. This means we fight, and he is immensely powerful, so we lose. But as we die, an ethereal power takes over. It seems the 9th avatar, the avatar of hope, lives inside all of us. Everyone who has stood united in defense of law is a fragment of the avatar of hope, and our selfless act of standing up against uncreation has freed the power of the goddess Larithia. As we rise from death, Thgarlin runs into the Temple of Hope, ready to destroy it. Unfortunately, he faces the full, combined, unified forces defending law. Archmage Belquea shouts now, and the spell they were preparing happens. The elemental orbs explode with harmonious energy, the creation orb lifts up, and the essence of Larithia calms the spirit of Thgarlin, saying there is hope for law yet, because unity has been observed, and this reality does not need to be unmade. With this, the spirit of Thgarlin and Larithia leave into the void, and Ryusi Cartwright screams for his lord to return. But as the void opens, Cartwright and Mage Belquea are pulled in. Belquea knows that even though he is in nowhere, the only way to stop Cartwright is to obliterate his body into the void, but casting this spell will also kill him. But for the sake of law, he does this. With the Devourer's essence gone, the Eternal, the Huntress's dad, is released from his eternal vigil of the Doomsday Clock, and the Huntress is able to return to her homeland, and we discuss the events on the beach. It is made clear that the Devourer, or Thgarlin, is not destroyed, but for now, the unity of law has shown him we do not need to be unmade. And that is the entire 22-hour Devourer saga, one of several epic quest lines within Adventure Quest.
And when you beat the final boss, you unlock the final shop, which not only gives you access to one of the best spells in the game, Elemental Unity, but also the commemorative I beat the Devourer and all I got was this stupid t-shirt armor.
Honestly, way more depth than I was expecting. You can really tell though when one story stops and another starts, and you can tell how many story threads they just totally forgot about. The whole sci-fi time travel thing is a bit off the rails, and I kind of missed the ribbers from the start, but all in all, a pretty strong fantasy plot. Heavy themes of Chrono Trigger, what with future civilizations, ancient powers, and being thrown to the past. You know, I never expected a 2D Flash game to have a plot that deep. I don't think many people ever played through this whole thing, but even though it took days, I'm glad I did it. So, what happened to Adventure Quest? Ultimately, Flash died, the game fell into relative obscurity, the plot became
It's like, why is he only talking about this now?
way too convoluted if you weren't playing it from the start, and the consistent inconsistencies in the design over 20 years has made it now look rushed, amateurish in some aspects, and kept it from ever being able to stand up to the big boys of online gaming. It is definitely a relic of its time, fun to play in short bursts, but very heavily limited. It's worth jumping back in, leveling a few classes, collecting some cool weapons, but the nostalgia we have for it comes from how readily available and easy Flash was back in the day. Now, having to download a launcher for it, combined with a very rough new player experience, I cannot see Adventure Quest attracting or keeping too many new people. Now, Dragon Fable, on the other hand, oh god, I'm going to have to make a 2-hour retrospective on another Flash game, aren't I? Right, off to Falcon Reach we go. Thank you very much for watching. A huge shout out to the supporters on...
And I'm going to fucking hate the... Okay, so this video, right? I can see why it garnered a lot of attention, but I also really don't like the fact that he kind of misinformed people about like the actual mechanics of the game. I mean, yes, the training is stupid, but hit chance doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. It works better than he thinks it does. The defense that you see on the monsters is not, I have to repeat, is not the chance they have to block. It is just a stat, and is a stat that goes against your accuracy, which is not shown, but is definitely higher than 0% chance to hit on 100 on a stat of 100. It's better than that. Now there's no music here because this is a very old quest. They didn't add any music to it. Where's my Yakuza soundtrack? I gotta shuffle. Oh my god, that's so loud. There, minimum volume. I know the answers to most of these.
How does this? Okay. Top of fish bait. One part of the pirate ship is the aft. I want to say it's not the belly. I thought I knew this. Where is my... Wait, is it fruitcake? Yes. Oh, now it's now it's giving me the stuff. Wait, did I just drain his... Oh, was it a shield? Yeah, it was a shield. It's the rear. Oh. They were elected. Ship shape is organized and clean. Beginning the same year as Adventure Quest. 2002? There are actually some new questions in this. Drog. Oh, I don't remember this one. Red bit. Okay. What is Davy Jones locked at the bottom of the sea? Old Saul is an experienced sailor. A bung hole is an opening in a barrel. A yellow jack is a yellow flag. Pirate was spelled with a Y. I don't remember this one. I think it's Floyd. Yeah. Pirates a pierced earword improve. No, it's not eyesight. Oops. Do I have an energy orb? No? Okay. Probably clashing with the... You can clearly hear it clashing with this music, clashing with the Yakuza soundtrack. I'm not gonna fix it though. Wait, no, this is all this is all I have, so I have to... I can only work with magic. Because this, I can't shift this into melee damage. I mean, I guess I could just not summon her. I'll just take a little bit longer. It can't be killed with water. Trying to do so will only make it stronger. This is a reference to the fact that you can actually just overload it. I think it increases it gets like its full mana back. So like if you damage it enough with water, it'll just explode. It's okay, we'll finish it off eventually. Slowly but surely.
luck with the opposite sex. Sure. Walk the plank. They disobeyed the captain. Who started it? I think these two guys. Shiver me, Jim Timbers is an expression of surprise. What do pirates not usually keep in their treasure chests? Gold. What is a landlubber? Not a sailor. Ahoy means greetings. Wait, pirate shop. What's in this pirate shop? Oh. Oh, this is pretty ass. More questions. The actual number, I think it was... No, it wasn't the number. Nice. It was the largest number. Yeah, I casually one-shot. Because I got lucky. Maroon means being left alone on an island. Grub is both 1 and 2. Spyglass is a handheld telescope. Yes, they did. A buccaneer is a Caribbean pirate. Pirate booty is hoarded treasure. Starboard is Keira Knightley is bored. Sure, it's the right side. Long-barreled muskets. Flying false colors. No? Okay, it's not that one. Why are we playing? Okay, no, fuck this. Play Yakuza 4 soundtrack. Yeah, fuck everything. Yeah, fuck it. No, I missed. It's not Tans? Alright. Hoisted their to-be victims flag. A cutlass is a pirate sword. Pirate's career usually lasts 2 to 5 years. The poop deck is highest deck. Crazy or mad. Is Johnny Depp a good actor? You betcha. Sorry, so what do we get for this? You can fire massive anchors that leave your foe dazed. Sure. Oh. 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 Oh my god. these pixelated text options, or the text bubble period. Alright, what do I do now? I think I've exhausted myself watching that video. Oh yeah, let's look back and see if
if anyone corrected him. Someone should have corrected him. Also, hi VTube Studio. I tried to get you working, and then I realized I didn't have the model download onto this computer, so I have to settle for not having it.
22, but not in Adventure Quest. There's even another example where I was doing a quest and then went to train a class, and the class had released after the quest had finished within the to be fair. That's what in one series of battles, but by a series, get a full hit. In a cool touch, you actually do find out later. Then sometimes pet at any time, or they don't stop attacking, and UPC someone is that's usually the round of them around the quest. A satirical parody fast, but says mental storyline actually held to PC way. It's slightly out of beats into on deaths out of Z tokens for one-time tokens are premium currency.
I wonder what I'm trying to do here.
In bulk.
I'm trying to find the at least one part where he says, "Oh, this has a 100% chance to block my attack."
Start attack. Hit the pack. The rare shot, which will cost just shot, use and it's the power leveling trick. Potion, all get protection with high fly potion, which of course gain question, which and is hopefully powered with chance, which quest of intelligence, successfully skills. Archer and looker, or uniform lines, and see the animated mage graphic at the top. Fighter armor doesn't have that. Wizard armor does for every few fights. Or skin you've now got. To cast drop trainer and you around the wagon will take with my dins current. And the risk skin is guards one side. Know this just a play your bars.
At some point he mentions a shadow rock.
77 and die for this old quest level ranger and Dr. Seuss references. Take a run for when you the mountain as an infiltration in over get a good horse, which just means to different way. The wrong where over there and it were in the right sent forward, but walk to older and balance game good whatever that dodge rate levels. So you know what, with not healing between fights, and I just don't have the health or mana to survive here. So you know, if you can kill a creature called Jagos, who has the orb in the desert, is a goddamn struggle, because not only do you lose health between every fight, many of the enemies have an 80% dodge rate. Combined, you know what?
Okay, he mentions a dodge rate here. Does anyone correct him?
So far, Warlock, Master.
No one corrects him in 30 seconds. No one corrects him. No one corrects him. They just simply hear him go 80% dodge rate and they say, what the fuck? I'm reporting this for misinformation. No. Wait, no, it's not that. Hold on.
You can still, but I'll try another and you do need the whip on I do that.
Wait, was it here?
Kid and audience up. You know what? Keep doing it. Only put massive experience and gold, and it doesn't delete the guards. You know what? So let's achieve that childhood dream. Now, it's bizarre. Just let the master.
Wait. I lost the point where he said
Shadow Master, but when they realized they were wrong and we were trying to cure Uldor, they
no, that's going to be very boring. Don't do that, Firehopper. Also, hi.
Looking for. Anyway, we get sent to the desert to go and kill a creature called Jagos, who has the orb, and the enemies have an 80% dodge rate.
Okay, this is the timestamp. No, I'm not doing that. Okay. Provide additional details. The enemies stated here do not have an 80% dodge rate. The whether you hit a monster or not is determined by a random roll based on the monster's melee, ranged, or magic defense. the player has a hidden bonus to hit. Bonus to hit stat that increases with stat investment and equipment. They would offset the monster's dodge rate, making it more than likely that you have better than 1 in 5 odds to hit them. He later mentions a monster with 100% dodge rate, which is even worse misinformation. Maybe I should report him for every single time he says that. Oh no, I've hit the character limit. Okay, no, you know what? Just this one instance was already enough for me. Like, he probably mentioned it earlier, but like, no, he doesn't know how the game works. I hit the character limit because that's not how it works. Okay, I'm just gonna go into I'm gonna go into a random battle, right? Look at this monster's defenses. Does that read 89% for melee? Does that mean I only have an 11% chance to hit him? No. Watch me hit him most of the time. Which one do I use? This. Ah, fuck it. We'll keep that on. Actually, wait. No, we don't. That was the defensive right now. Yeah, watch me hit him most of the time. Oh wait, I just cleared the battle walk. Yeah, okay. Now look at the look at these rolls here. I rolled a 176 against 89. Yeah, I don't think that's an 89% chance to dodge, Sir Josh Strife. In fact, I'm disliking this video too. Fuck you. Misinformation. Ow. This is blatantly false. That's not how this game works. He deserved that report. Hey, look at all these rolls I'm hitting. That's not a 98% chance to dodge. Oh no, I rolled a 91 against 102. But yes, as you can see, it is not 98% chance to dodge. I think it's clear now. He still dodges sometimes. In fact, I rolled... Oh god, we have... Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Unsuccessfully rolled a 102 against 102. So we basically have what we have here basically is Gen 1 missing. Except it's not really Gen 1 missing. I'm pretty sure that's not my minimum roll. My minimum roll is like a 91 so far. But yeah, even if it's the same, it'll still whiff. It has to be greater than, strictly greater than this roll. Anyway, yeah, fuck it. We'll gotcha. Do I even have any more? Okay, I'll buy 10 here. That's a common. I don't care about commons. No, it's giving me commons. Wait, am I allowed to do this on stream? I have rares. Yeah, fuck. I'll keep the rares as well. Oh, you know what? I should have tagged my stream as gambling, because this is gambling technically. People do box openings all the time. Isn't that legal? I guess it is. You're right. I did spend real money for this, so all right. Gotcha didn't work out, but that's okay. Does Twitch have something against gambling? I think you may or may not have to specify or tag your stream as a gambling stream. Like content classification, you have to do it. Does every Yakuza 4 have to tag it? I mean, maybe, but that's not real money though. What you are gambling for sure is your time, because if you don't succeed, then you just like wasted 2.5 hours. You get fined by the government if you gamble on Twitch? That sounds disgusting. That sounds absolutely disgusting. But yeah. Gambling laws, that explains a lot. Alright, I'm tired. Yeah, basically. Alright, I'm tired. I wanted to watch that video. That was the first time I watched it. And quite frankly, I completely, like, zoned out after the first hour. Because from that point on, he actually just started the main quest line, the quote-unquote main quest line for this game. And I just, like, fucking shut off my brain because I didn't want to talk over him explaining the plot, because believe me, I don't remember the plot of this game at all. I remember Dragon Fable's plot a lot better, but not by too much. And it sounds like he's gonna do a Dragon Fable video, which, believe me, I will fucking tear that video apart. If there's, like, anything wrong with it, I will point it out and I will make his life miserable. You can count on that. Firehopper, if you were here earlier, I was also, like, talking a little bit about what this game used to be like, and not the current analysis that what was his name again? Josh Strife. Was that his? Yeah, Josh Strife Plays. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I also mentioned, like, the how the old stuff used to be. So, like, is this too loud? I think it's too loud. It's too loud. I also mentioned, like, how switching pets. For example, how switching pets used to take up a turn, and guests taking up a turn. And also, this menu didn't used to be an option at all, right? Start battle? No. Way back in the day, you just got into the battle, and you either instantly died to the monster because you weren't wearing the right equipment, or hopefully like you roll first and then like actually get to attack them, because like all these like things, like this entire thing, like it's not like I have a 100% chance to actually like go first. That's not how this game works. You kind of roll against, it's like a roll luck, I think. Yeah, it's like it's a luck roll. So you basically hope that you go first most of the time. Well, it's not luck. I think your main stats also contribute, like your strength and dexterity and intellect. They also contribute to your whether you go first or not. But luck has the biggest impact. But yeah, this game used to be a whole lot fucking worse than the version that is available to play now. So I am grateful that they didn't kill this game off yet. But holy shit, the state of this game when it was like even like in before the 2010s, like this was an awful game. It was like this, like not being able to switch your pets was so bad that like they made hold on, let me switch to an actual good oh yeah, I forgot I changed this now. Yeah, like it used to be so bad that they would make a miscellaneous item just so that you could switch pets for free. And like summon guests, like this used to take up your turn as well. Now it doesn't. You can just do it whenever the fuck you want. Right? Bro, it used to be so bad. It used to be so bad. That's why I kept this for the longest time actually, because like these pets, these pets and guests, they don't do anything except increase your damage. So that's like what we went with. I still use this all the time. Oh yeah, my fire weapon is this, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's whatever. Yeah, this game was god awful, but you know what actually aged well? Dragon Fable, which is the only Artix Entertainment game that I still play, because the end game is actually extremely based. I may or may not pull up an old character to like play like the main Dragon Fable story with, because like I have an old character, like single digit levels. Like I could try to like raise it up to like the current to the current story and see how long it takes for me to. It's like that might become like a more regular thing on the stream now. If I don't feel like speedrunning, which I don't feel like doing right. I mean, I kind of feel like speedrunning. I want to do 6 at some point. I don't know if Froob actually added a pause rule or like a crash rule for Yakuza 6. I'm hoping that he did, but he might not have. Yeah, he didn't. He did not. I'm waiting until he actually adds it on. And if he doesn't add it on, I will request to be global Yakuza speedrun mod so that I can actually add rules like that. I shouldn't have to, but given how I've already okay, in the Discord, right? He said that he said, quote, actually, no, let me read off of it so I can, in fact, quote him. Okay, quote, I'm absolutely okay with a crash rule for 6. If anyone else has experienced crashes with 6 on PC, feel free to add. I don't think it's the same as K2, where it's the time the game has been kind of open thing, but I am fairly confident most of us have probably experienced a whole bunch of different ones. Xplay then says, I am 100% for a crash rule. And then basically nothing after that. The rule gets made, then you can just post that. Could try to record one record one with pause and go from there. If the rule gets made, then you can just post that version. I don't like doing a run before pending rules are established. I mean, this really shouldn't be a pending rule. I've brought up this exact crash issue before, and it was completely ignored. So I have my reasons for not taking the run seriously just yet. I could practice, but again, rules need to be established first, which is why I made the rules that I did for Ishin, and probably like I don't know. I feel like we really did not handle Like a Dragon Ishin properly, because first of all, absolutely no runs were being made. Like zero. Zilch. Right? If everyone crashes... Not everyone crashes at the same part. I always crash at the same part. I don't remember. I actually don't remember. I might have misremembered. I don't remember if it's Chapter 9 or Chapter 12. Because the part where it definitely crashes is in Chapter 12, but I swear I remember Chapter 9 also crashing for me. But it always has to do something... It always has something to do with like going back to Onomichi and encountering the goons over there. So... like in like story wise, not like random encounter wise, like that's consistent for me. And like I can literally just, I'm pretty sure it is like the same type of crash as K2, where like it's like the game's been open for too long, so I could just like quit out at Chapter 9 and just like go from there. Like I just like close the game at Chapter 9. Gladition is ass anyways. It is pretty ass. Like, I mean, it didn't take long for... I'm actually impressed it only took PS Caller like a week at least, if not less time, to find a good combination of cards. And then that just like that just became like, it's like he found the best combination of the cards, did it within like a couple of days, and then was like, I'm never running this game again. Because like that looked pretty definitive. Like what he did for the run was pretty good. I don't know if you can top that with the pool of cards that the game provides you. But yeah, I think that's all you're going to see from me tonight. Yeah, let's look forward to Gaiden. I'm excited for Gaiden. Because I suspect that infinite wealth. I almost called it Infinite Warfare, like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the most cursed game ever. Okay, if Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is going to be long, I suspect that's going to be extremely long. So what I might do with Gaiden is I'm actually going to blind speedrun Gaiden. Call of Dragon Infinite Warfare. So yeah, my plan is to actually blind speedrun Gaiden so that I can, quote unquote, have a run of the game done. And then look back at the plot after. It's more fun when you don't know the context of anything for a game that you've never played before, but are just going through the combat shit anyway. Right? I think that's fair. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'll blind speedrun Gaiden. I'm not going to blind... I'll change my mind. I'm probably not going to blind speedrun Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, because I suspect that game is going to be like 50 hours long. You're gonna need to grind to level 99 just to beat the first boss, and also that first boss is Majima kind of deal. I suspect that's going to happen. Also, you need like 50 million yen to get back to Japan from Hawaii, wherever the fuck he ends up stranded. Yeah, so that's probably going to be my plan for the next couple of months, is to literally play the game, like speedrun the game blind. just skip everything, not know the context of anything that's going on. I don't care if the plot becomes relevant. I have to answer some quiz questions or whatever the fuck. I'm just going to fucking do it. You know? Now, if they are smart or diabolical and they actually prevent you from skipping cutscenes if you haven't watched all of them, I will rip my hair out and uninstall the game and refund it. I'm kidding. I'll do that with like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but not Gaiden. I don't think Gaiden deserves that treatment. It's probably only going to be like they say it'll be like 20 hours long, so like if you skip all the cutscenes, it'll probably be like 2 hours. I don't know. No one knows. No one knows. We have to, you know, we need the game for that to, like, for definitive information. We just don't have that. But yeah, I'll do that because like I was originally gonna do it with like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, they're gonna make that game fucking horrible speedrun. So yeah, and also like I'm a complete brainlet when it comes to like planning and routing a turn-based RPG. Yeah, that because there's way too many variables. Like even Pokemon, well, Pokemon's kind of like the quintessential standard of what to like routing, what to use, and how to do things in that game, or not in just that game, that series of games for speedrunning. But yeah, like a dragon, like I would not have figured any of that out by myself. Which is why I'm glad Tom exists to do it. Now, to be fair, I have contributed some things, just not nearly as much as Tom. Like, I don't completely reroute the mid-game. I just optimize a couple of fights here and there. But yeah. So, until that day comes, I will just keep on doing my thing, I guess. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow or like for the rest of the week. Dragon Fable will have another release on Friday, which might actually be plot related, but I will be massively spoiling the plot because it will be the latest. It will be like the latest entry to the plot. So yeah, I don't know. I'll think of something to do. I'll try to think of something to do. No promises though. So yeah. And until then, farewell for now. I'm tired. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm almost turning into that Josh. What's that guy's? I keep forgetting that guy's name. Josh Strife. I'm never going to remember his name. I'm just gonna look at him as that guy that got the defense mechanic completely wrong. The proof is on stream. Like you can't say that these monsters literally have an 87. It doesn't work like that. All right. I'm done. I'm done. All right. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Okay, bye.